country, dating back to the first games on lakes and ponds in the mid-1800s. Manitoba has produced some great men's Canadian champions. Gordon Hudson won twice in 28 and 29. And how about the father of the modern game, Ken Watson, a three-time national men's champion. Billy Walsh won a Canadian men's title once. That was 1952. His friends called him Doogie. 2 titles for Don Duguid in 70 and 71, and followed quickly by the Big O, who won the Canadian men's championship in 1972, Oris Melischuk. Barry Fry won in 79. The youngest men's winner ever was Kerry Burtnick in 81. That was followed by Mike Riley, who won a Canadian men's title in 1984. The last time Winnipeg held a World Curling Championship was 1978, but there would be no Canadian hero that year. No, the men's world champion was a U.S. rink skipped by Bobby Nichols. Now the World Curling Championships are back in Winnipeg and before record crowds at the Winnipeg Arena. And yes, the people think that there may be good reason to hold that flag high, because Canada sits alone atop the standings with 6 straight wins. Kevin Martin and his rink from Edmonton. Nighttime glow of the Manitoba legislature. We're in Winnipeg for the 1991 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. And it's all brought to you in part by Canada Safeway and its employees. Safeway, bringing the world together. And here are the men's standings heading into this 14th round here in Winnipeg. Canada all alone in first place at 6-0, followed by Scotland 5-1, setting up this crucial 14th round matchup. Then it's Norway, Switzerland, and the United States, all above 500. Below the line, well, Germany, Sweden, France, still with outside chances. Denmark and Finland are on the bottom. Women's standings, Canada guaranteeing themselves a spot in the semifinals at 7-0. Norway, Sweden, Scotland, Germany at 4-3. Denmark, Switzerland at 3-4. France, United States, and Austria on the bottom. Both of those teams at 1-6. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to TSN's continuing coverage of these World Curling Championships from Winnipeg. Julie Sutton is into the Final Four.
She's playing well, but I think, again, with the U.S. game today, they only played as well as they had to. It wasn't until this big shot by Julie in the 7th end where she took 3 that they started to come on. The game was very close up to this point, and it could have been anybody's game, but really this shot carried them on, and they played very well after that.
So Canada wins over the United States, and Maymar Gemmel of Houston, Texas, the former Canadian seniors champion. All right, now we've got the men's. That's where we turn our attention to. The men's champions, Kevin Martin, going against Scotland. And I've said to Ray in the past that I think maybe Scotland and D.Smith get an unfair knock all the time because people expect him to play up and down the sheet and win 2-1.
Well, he's playing well. It wasn't really until the last game he was playing Norway that you saw all parts of his game come together. Earlier on, they were struggling a little bit, and they're going to have to play very well against Kevin Martin tonight because Kevin Martin's team has, in the last game, made those great draws as well as hits. So it'll be a good game, I think.
So Kevin Martin and his rink go for their 7th straight win. The second is Dan Petrick, and so far he has been second to none. He's standing by with Ray Turnbull.
Dan, last night against France, maybe a little bit of inconsistency, but this morning you looked just great.
Yeah, you come off of a tough day against Sweden and Norway, and then you play France. That's developing as far as curling is concerned, and sometimes it's hard to get fired up, but they sure came at us. They really made us shoot. I mean, we got up early, and then we got maybe a little lazy, and Dupont-Roch made a few great shots. I mean, he put us in trouble, and it should have cost us the game, but he gave us a second chance, and we ended up taking it.
This morning, you just looked so loose out there, and you really played well this morning.
Yeah, we made some key shots to get him in trouble again, you know, which is, you know, our normal style of game. And a lot of times he made a few great shots to get them out of trouble, and then a few shots he didn't quite come through with, and then you pull away with the lead. And for a hitting team like ours, yeah, that's usually it.
Well, David Smith obviously has a great deal of experience. He's been in the final twice, and I know he wants this very badly. So you should have your hands full with an experienced player like David Smith tonight.
Well, yeah, he'll be tough for sure. I mean, I expect it to go right down to the wire, but I don't know. I expected a lot of that from all the Brier teams too, so it won't be anything new for us.
Well, another win would guarantee Canada a spot in the semifinal, but they still got a way to go. When we come back, David Smith, Kevin Martin. We're at the 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships.
At the end of March, one of the most prestigious winter sports events in the world will be taking place in Western Canada. The Canada Safeway World Curling Championships at the Winnipeg Arena. The event brings together the top men's and women's competitors in the game and is indeed a proud moment for us all.
On behalf of our 22,000 employees in Western Canada, Canada Safeway is pleased to have been able to bring this fine event to the Canadian prairies.
Okay, work with me now, people, okay? See this name, Goodyear? What do you think of when you see this name? Tires. See, that's what I mean. For years, we've been doing tune-ups. Thank you, Gord, son of the owner. Tune-ups, under the hood work, but still, when we say Goodyear, you say tires. Come on, work with me on this.
From tune-ups to tires, Goodyear takes you home.
Goodyear does tune-ups. This is not a big reach. Pretty clear.
All right, you're about to graduate into the Purex Tune Game. So never forget your mission in life is to be so much softer. That's better. Now, present softness.
We put hundreds of little pillows in every sheet. It's two-ply softness, you can see.
You're ready to pitch to him. That black and silver bat he's got looks like one of those Easton EA70 jobs you and your catcher have been hearing about. Stronger, quicker than any bat ever made. You look in for the catcher's sign. There it is now. He wants you to roll the ball to the plate.
There are just two women's games in this 14th round of the World Curling Championships. Scotland against Sweden. Christine Allison 3-3 from East Kilbride. Sweden 4-2, Annette Norberg of Harnesson. And France against Norway. Dordy Nordby, the defending World Women's Championship, 5-1 against Annick Merci of Mesjev, 1-5. Three men's games. Denmark against Finland. Christian Thune Jacobsen of Copenhagen is 2-4. Finland 0-6. France against Norway. Eigil Ramsfeld trying to bounce back. He's 4-2. Dominic Dupont-Roch of Mesjev is 2-4. And our featured game, the top two teams heading into this 14th round, Scotland against Canada. Scotland 5-1, the Canadians 6-0. We're at the Winnipeg Arena for these 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. And representing Scotland from Perth, on the left is their skip, David Smith. Graham Connell is the third. Peter Smith is the second. And David Hay is the Scottish lead. Representing Canada from the Avonare Curling Club in Edmonton, on the left is the skip, 24-year-old Kevin Martin. Kevin Park is the third. Dan Petrick is the second. And 30-year-old Don Bartlett is the Canadian lead. And there are our two skips, David Smith and Kevin Martin. And Scotland has won the coin toss. They will have last rock, and they are throwing red stones. To get us going, the Canadian lead, Don Bartlett.
Well, I'm kind of excited about this game, to be honest with you. I kind of think we're going to see some rocks in play. I know, Linda, that with David Smith, it's hard to say that. But I honestly think David's tired of the rap that he's got about just being a hitter. Now, we have seen him play in 2 World Championships, and that's what all he did do. But Kevin Martin this morning in the first end went around everything and got it going, and I think we're going to see David Smith do some of that as well, but not with this shot.
No, maybe not this early, but yeah, I think you're right. Against Norway earlier, Scotland did play very well. It was a low-scoring game, but there was a lot of come-around shots in it.
29-year-old David Hay is a grain farmer, as 3 of the members are of this ring.
And with that 87%, David Hay is the top lead. Don Bartlett, however, not far behind at just 86%. So we see the top 2 leads.
It's in the breeding, you know. His father, of course, is an ex-world champion, the only Scottish team to win the World Championship, Chuck Hay.
That was 1967?
1967. He's right.
It's too bad that wasn't the trivia question, Ray. You would have got that one right.
Maybe it was. Maybe they're searching for another one at this moment. Don Bartlett did not play the entire game earlier. He has a sore shoulder, and he played, I believe, 6 ends of the game before the 5th man came in. So hopefully his shoulder is feeling better.
Remember Vancouver World Championships? We saw a lot of this, Linda, where the curlers covered up the sweaters. They think that the lights, the heat from the lights heat the stones a little bit, so they keep them covered up. I thought they had stopped that.
Well, I think at the Canadian level, it is not permitted anymore. We'll have to check the rule book. Obviously, here it is, or they would come out and say something. But I believe now that the Canadian Curling Association has prevented that from happening at any Canadian championship. They felt that it really wasn't a factor. There was a lot of talk about the color of the granite. If it was dark granite, it would absorb more light, or the color of the handle, if it was dark, it would be more of a factor. And I think they studied it a lot and felt it wasn't a factor.
As we have said, Dan Petrick is the best among seconds so far at these World Championships.
Easy.
He'll dig in, likely.
No.
We'll go for it.
Leave it.
Okay.
Well, allows David Smith to play in the rings now, and that's obviously where he wants to play. So it slipped a little too far. Kevin Martin wanting it out in front. Peter Smith.
Peter and his brother David work a potato and grain farm.
Why we took that in?
Dan Petrick. We're just underway, first end of this 14th round game of the Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. Scotland and Canada, and Scotland with last rock.
Interesting enough, I was on a radio show in between the draws in all the spare time I had. And I was on with Bob Cowan. He was saying that, you know, he didn't really think that David Smith really cared whether he won or lost this game, because as long as he makes the semifinal, that's all he really cares about. And I don't think that's right. I mean, I think Bob's a terrific guy and knows his team very well, and maybe much better than I. But I think there's still a lot of pride, self-pride, and a lot of natural rivalry especially between Scotland and Canada, Lyndon. I think this game means a lot to both of these teams. I think that we know both these teams are going to qualify. Yes, Robert's right about that. But I still think that, you just don't, like, everybody wants to beat Canada, that's for sure, and especially the Scots.
We won't be able to come around it.
And Kevin hasn't forgotten his loss in the final, World Junior final, to David Aiken, believe me. So he doesn't want to lose to Scotland.
This is the first stone for the Canadian third, Kevin Park, here in the first inning.
Well, looks tight. On its own. On its own. Oh, right there. Whoa. Okay.
A little bit of corn being applied to the ice by Kevin Martin. It might make the Rocks curl a little bit more in this game than we've seen earlier.
I never used to like to lose even to my mother. But I guess... Go in.
Interesting, one of the officials is Bob Decker. And checking on the fact whether the rule applies, the Canadian rule applies here at an international level about covering up rocks.
I will go in with it.
Well, Kevin said it caught something, which will mean it will curl a lot more.
Almost better to hog this, maybe.
I think they felt it had the weight. They're trying to hold it straight, not to set up a corner guard.
Six. Five.
Easy. Second stone for the Scottish third here in this first inning.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Let it grip. Let it grip. No,
It caught something. It was going to be at least into the 4-foot, I thought, and it caught something and stopped right behind that other guard. What a shame for them. 2 rocks in a row. They're going to have to watch this ice. If we think back to last night, this is the sheet that Julie Sutton curled on, and because of the huge crowd and the trouble they have between games trying to clean the ice softened, and Rocks caught something quite consistently in that game. Well, I guess that's our answer.
In Canada, we're playing on there was a motion crash by the ice over the Rocks not recovered. Canada, we're playing on it would be different.
Did you hear David Smith say if Canada was covering up, it would be different? But the umpire said it's a rule passed by the ICF, and they cannot cover the stones up. So the umpires have taken the jackets off.
I knew I'd read it. I wasn't sure which rule book I actually read it in. I know that it's in existence, and that's our answer. It is an ICF rule.
I think that's a little bit of an unfair comment by David.
Well, I guess they didn't know the rule.
Emotional
yeah, they just feel it's
reaction.
time.
Yeah, sure.
They do have the red handles, and as I mentioned, some people felt that the darker handles were a problem. I think they can see about half of that Canadian stone.
David picks these...
Get cleaned up there with the brushes, so there'll be any core from the hog in.
David may be referring to the straw a little bit.
We touch last to them.
This is the fifth trip to a World Curling Championship for the Scottish skip David Smith, and his first stone here in the first end. Scotland does have last rock.
Good-looking shot.
You know, you were talking earlier about David Smith, and we were saying the unfair knock. He is one of the biggest proponents of the new ICF free guard zone. And if you want to always play clean, that's not the kind of rule that you want in the books.
No, I think he can play that come-around game as well as anybody, and I think we're going to see a fair amount of this game. They hit really well, too, so the skill level of these players, both these teams, is fantastic.
Down normal.
Those are the top two skips we're seeing at 79%. Both David Smith and Kevin Martin.
Hurry! Hurt! Man! Quick! Hard! Okay. Okay. That's right.
They'll sit right there, top 8, and now it is the hit for the blank for Scotland here in the first 10. They are talking before we went on the air about a sellout for this 14th round. Upwards of 13,500 to 14,000 people.
Well, this is such a... The draw tonight is excellent. There's some terrific games out there. Sweden ladies playing against Scotland. It's a big game for both those teams.
The final stone of the first 10. David Smith, Scotland, looking to blank and maintain control of the hammer. They won't. They get the beautiful inside roll behind cover. If he could have done that with his first, he might be looking at 2. Instead, Scotland gets 1 to take the early lead on Canada. 14th round World Curling Championship. Some updates for you now. Women's competition, France against Norway. France with last rock in the first end. Brigitte Lamy makes the hit and stick for 2, skipping the Annick Mercier rink for Mejev. 2-0 over Dordi Nordby. Now Scotland-Sweden women's competition. Sweden with last rock. This is Annette Norberg of Harnosand with a record of 4-2. Scotland 3-3. Makes the nice peel of the stone, the takeout, and rolls the shooter as well to blank the first end. Now France and Norway. Dominic Dupont-Brock against Eigel Ramsfeld. Final stone for the French skip with a record of 2-4. Drawing for 2. But now he slides a little too far. They actually measured that stone and the Norwegian stone at the top of the 8-foot. They only got 1. So France take the early lead, 1-0. Final stone for David Smith in the first end. Looking to hit and blank, and then he got the nice roll. Okay. It's the kind of shot you'd like just a little earlier. He takes 1, and so we go to the second end. Scotland leading Canada 1-0, and Canada and Kevin Martin will have last round.
Well, Kevin Martin's ignoring the stone, sitting at the back of the 12-foot. You can see the stone at 530. He's throwing up the corner guard to try and generate some offense, and David Smith will run it off. He's walking up to it now.
The Scottish second, Peter Smith.
And the peel.
Well, I did get a confirmation during the break that the rule about covering the rocks exists both in the Canadian rule book and the international rule book. We've mentioned some of the differences between those two rule books. For example, in the international rules, only the acting skip may sweep behind the tee line. In the Canadian rules, the front end may sweep if they're continuing to sweep a rock down the ice. They may sweep behind the tee line. In this case, the rule is the same in both cases.
Another big difference in the rules, of course, is the fact that under the International Curling Federation rules, you can change your utensils. We've seen the Swedes use the broom and the brush, where in Canada, once you choose and start the game with either the brush or the broom or whatever it may be, you must continue on with that instrument throughout the whole game. So those are two major differences. But as Linda mentioned, as far as covering up those stones, they're identical.
Talk a little bit about the new statistic we've seen this year called plus minus. Whenever a player outcurls his or her opponent by at least 5% in a game, he or she is awarded a +1. The opponent receives a -1. So we'll see how the two teams shape up, match up against each other in terms of their plus and minus. Now we're talking about the two top teams coming into this 14th round, so you'd think that they would all be pluses.
How's the line?
Yep. Dan Patrick.
Whoa! Okay.
Well, Kevin got the nose hit he wanted. He didn't necessarily want it to roll to the center line, but he's decided to go around it anyway. And lots of movement. Look at this here.
To bite the top of the 8. All right, here's how the teams match up in terms of plus and minus, Scotland and Canada. You see the lead, David Hay at a +3, Don Bartlett +1, Peter Smith +2, as is Dan Petrick, Graham Connell +3, as is Kevin Park, and right now Kevin Martin out curling David Smith in +- +4, but they are dead even in total. That's why they are the top two teams.
Right? Well, David took a long look at it, but he's going to play the run through. Try and drive the front one back onto the stone, sitting in the 8-foot right on the center line.
The Scottish third is 21-year-old Graham Connell. He works as a clerical assistant for Scottish Hydro.
Well, that was the second best thing that could happen. They just peeled off the guard, but it gives Canada a great chance to come down to that back rock.
There.
Good opportunity for Canada to pick up the 2 points. They have the advantage of last rock. And as Linda suggests, and Kevin illustrates for us, he's going to just draw down to the face of that. Freeze to the face of the back one.
Straight draw down to the back. About 13. Oh, yeah. A lot of stuff at the end there.
He's talking about the corn that's probably on the ice. He said there's a lot around at the end. That's the house area. If they need it, it'll slow the rock down if it's too fast.
Should be there. Line's good. Should be there.
Line's good.
Yep.
Make sure it's here. Hurry.
Hard for line.
Hurry for line.
Hard for line, guys. Quick.
Hurry for line.
Quick.
Hurry for line.
Hard.
Hurry.
Quick.
Hurry.
That's 12. Right up. Kevin T. Line.
Hurry.
Okay. Oh.
Great shot.
Right up on top. Kevin Park.
You get sight of it. Yep.
Well, that was a great shot, and boy, those sweepers, you can hear them working hard all the way down the ice.
Check to there. Okay.
There's a possible double takeout. They have to be careful not to wrong hit it and jam it and leave both the Canadian stones.
Look at the angle. Oh, so close. thing hangs so bad, eh?
Yeah, if it won't curl, hit it. But you don't think it'll finish there with that corn?
Go here? Let's hit this. What do you think? I think so.
What do you want to do, Cap? Finish there, won't it?
You want to go here?
Well, Kevin Park wants to draw, and Kevin Martin wants to hit.
Second shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Double anything out.
Okay, well, Kevin Martin was talking about hitting this and kind of just rolling over like so, but they decided I'll just clear it for a moment to come around, try, and he said, it'll finish, let's get it in here. In that area there, it'd be perfect.
Figured.
And the shot is somewhat similar that he just played, is it not? He just has to pull back a little bit.
Well, he thinks it's the same path, Vic, over a little bit further, but...
Looks good. One last.
Line's
We're there. Line's good.
Clean.
Yep. What? Line. What? Lot of weight. Line. It's all over the front one. Come on. Right up.
Hurry, 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 roll it, roll it, roll it.
Roll it, Johnny. Roll it, roll it. Roll it. Right over.
Not too bad.
Okay.
Well, they were shot one, but now Scotland, of course, is line one, and Canada's second and third shot. This call by David will be interesting now.
A lot of weight there, too. If it wasn't hit, it's good. You might set up a double. Leave on line 3. I would try and hit this and check over. You get it straight. You get it that way or that side. The problem is if you don't make it, then... if you don't make it, he just hits out of line 3. Or 2 anyway. Straight raise there. The double will be good. Get it inside.
David Hay, Peter Smith, not involved in the discussion at all, the front end.
Well, they talked about the straight back hit or the draw.
And then it's picked up some corner, then it's screwed in.
I think I'd be tempted, because it's early in the game, to hit the front one and try and roll in front of my own rock. Maybe that's a little defensive, but they haven't really played this spot to know the out-turn path.
Well, they get a chance to practice on the sheet of ice, so they should have an idea, you know, what it does. So if you hit this one and you don't make it properly, you get the perfect roll in front of your own stone, fine. But if you don't, you're giving Canada 2.
If you don't make this, he hits line 3.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Straight raise, if it hits 3/4, a check over and get my own one. This has got to be perfect. Even if it is perfect, he's got the double off that one, see him behind. And there's not much swing here. The only reason there's got him behind because of the picked up corn.
Well, he's talked himself out of the shot almost, and yet the brush is still down to play it.
That's a better shot. Very early in the game, I've been playing circuit shots like this. I think the heck Graham's the right shot.
He'd like to double.
He'll try to make it all the way across the rings from 12 to 12.
Come on!
There it goes, and he drives it back and by.
That really overcurled.
Yeah, curled a long way. Well, as I mentioned, it gives Kevin a chance now to
Right on the beat.
hit in line 2.
Right on the beat. Yeah.
It's one of those things where I don't think there's really a right and wrong shot, Linda. I mean, we could discuss that whole thing. I mean, if you don't feel you can make the draw in there, back to the back one, and then you heard David Smith say, if I don't make the draw perfectly, he may have the double for 3, and if I miss the draw, then he'll have the hit to line 3. So, in not making this this double, the hit double, then he gives Kevin Martin a chance to get a deuce. But Kevin has to exchange stones.
Big hit! Hard! Quick!
Kevin Martin and the first stone for the Canadian skip here in end number 2.
Good. Oh boy.
Excellent shot.
Yeah, the double. Just fell in. Look at it. About half stone double. Middle of the stone.
It's interesting when we look up here, Linda, at the crowds up in the balcony now. It's the biggest crowd we've seen all week. And you're right. I'm sure there's a few people watching us at the hog line in, but you bring those people down to here, and the Winnipeg Arena would be full with 14,000.
Everybody here, of course, to see this game, the Canadian-Scottish game, and so far they haven't let us down.
All right.
Looking for the roll
cross.
in front. Good-looking shot.
So the chance now for Canada and Kevin Martin to
You want to play the end? Let's play the end.
drive this stone straight back and hit and sit and count two.
I said he was playing the intern, so he almost has negative ice, that room, approximately in the center of the rock. Oh, there he is. A little more.
Final stone.
Wait. Oh! Clean. Get hurt!
Can't afford to roll the outside. Rolls it in. Graham Connell won't be able to sweep it back. Canada will pick up two here in the second end of play. We've got ourselves a game. The two top men's teams at these World Championships, and they're going to put on a show.
Brings you back to life. If only there was an easy way to exercise. Stop. Introducing Walk and Roll from Telexpress. Now you can walk to a fitter, trimmer, healthier you. Exercise the feet and ankles. Firm and shape your calves. Slim and tone your thighs. Define the hips. Tighten and shape the buttocks. Rediscover that waistline and flatten the tummy. 18 padded rollers. 6 white indicate walking zone. Extended black rollers for rollback. All cushion impact. For a leisurely stroll or a brisk walk. Great for a jog, speed walking, or a run. Fully assembled and satisfaction guaranteed. Order Walk and Roll today on this exclusive Telexpress offer and get fit for 3 easy payments of $43. Just put one foot in front of the other and walk and roll.
Don't send any money. Just call 1-800-541-6667. We'll bill your credit card 3 monthly payments of only $43 plus shipping and handling. Just 3 monthly payments. So call 1-800-541-6667 now.
Updates for you now. Scotland and Sweden in women's play. They blanked the first end. This is the final stone for Annette Norberg of Hardiston with a record of 4-2. Needs to draw full 8-foot for her single point. And Sweden takes the 1-0 lead over Scotland in women's play. Denmark, Finland in men's play. Denmark and the final stone for Christian Thun Jacobsen of Copenhagen. Will roll too far, and it is a steal of 1 for Finland and Jussi Pavolniemi. France, Norway, men's play. France opened with 1 in the first. Final stone for Eigil Amsfeld of Oslo with a record of 4-2. Looking to play a little chip here and lie 2. He'll only get 1. It's 1-1. France, Norway, women's play, all kinds kinds of rocks around the button. Dordy Nordby and her final stone, trying to get in there, will actually raise a stone back. She gives up a steal of 1, so Norway, Dordy Nordby hurting herself, giving up a steal of 1 to Annick Mercier. In end number 2 of our featured game here in the 14th round, the hit for 2 for Canada and Kevin Martin. And we go to the third end, Canada leading Scotland 2-1. Next year's World Championship will be in Garmisch. And yes, lots of support here from the mountain towns in the Bavarian Alps.
Well, we've had an interesting end, actually, to this point, Dick. We've seen a couple of interesting calls. David Smith ignored a stone that was sitting on the top of the 12-foot a moment ago and asked for a corner guard, but the corner guard slipped into the rings, and Kevin Martin hit it. And that's the rock you see sitting behind the tee line in the rings. And David Smith then, because Canada was lying 2, decided to hit. He hit and rolled out. Now Kevin Martin is drawing to the other side of the rings to lie 2 once again.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Clean her up.
Dan Petrick.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Looks like a lot. Oh, yeah, it's sliding down. We're heavy, Kevin. We're heavy. Well, probably close to even, huh? Okay, sir.
Well, both those stones are behind the tee line. It'll be interesting to see whether David uses them. There's the call for a freeze, absolutely. So we're going to have some rocks to play.
You're not trying hit and roll. Hit and roll.
Hit and roll, then, he says.
Well, it looks like the officials are still trying to explain the great cover-up to some Scottish officials. The Scots wanted to cover their stones, thinking that they might be affected by the light and the heat, and the officials said, no, it's in the books, you can't cover your stones.
Yeah, come on. Go then, easy, easy. Top of the 8, coming up a wee bit. Whoop, up. Okay. Great shoot. No, flop here.
The thought in this end, of course, is that Scotland ignores the Canadian stones, knowing they can draw to the 4th foot if they have to for their point. They'll try and build up some rocks at the back of the house, and hopefully Canada will miss-hit one of the Scottish stones, and then Scotland can try for their 2.
Scotland with last rock in this third end. Canada leading 2-1.
Clean. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Great shot. Okay. Oh, boy. Nice shot, sir.
And rolls it into the top of the 4, and Canada lying 3. Well, it wasn't the question we had hoped for, because we knew that answer. This is the trivia question for this round. Who was the first Alberta skip to win a world championship? Because Chuck Hay doesn't work there.
You know that one, Ray?
I think so.
Wait. Give it clean in. Wait. Whoop, up. Whoop.
But David's just playing to tap it back. It's a good call. It's a little roll over in front.
5 feet.
2 feet. Good shot, good call. Kevin has to be careful removing it.
Let's go normal. All right, let's go normal, sure.
One of the things about the event that I really enjoy is you talked earlier, Dick, about renewing old friendships and seeing all the people again that we see every year. But you know, there's some, I don't know, literally over 1,000 volunteers here, and there are volunteers from all over. I see, Shirley and Steve McDermott from the Toronto area working on the press bench, and
Warren and Doris Brooke. Doris Brooke just brought me a cup of coffee. They're from London, Ontario.
Yeah.
People from all over. Speaking of the Brooks, Doris and Warren have a message for their daughter Allison: no more parties while they're away.
Please. We'd like to see the wall standing when we get home.
That's right. Please, leave the house. And that comes from their Uncle Ray, too. But it's the fun part of this event. You know, you really see people that and we're really fortunate because we get a chance to see the people every year as we move across the country and around the world.
Yeah, it is great. I was visiting this morning with Erica Mueller, my girlfriend. You can say a very close friend, and I didn't meet her till 1985 when she represented Switzerland, and I was on the Canadian team at the Worlds. And now we managed to go over and visit quite regularly, and she might come over to our house this summer.
David playing the hit and roll.
Great for us. Strike them. Okay.
And he tried.
Tough double.
He tried in that end to get something going. It just didn't work for him. So now you're down to your third shot. So you're just trying to play it a little bit, a little bit simpler.
Well, that's a great way to use TSN. The 1991 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships.
Could be, yeah. Make sure you clean it up from now on.
Hold it! Come on! Kevin Park.
Quick! That's good.
Well swept, you guys.
Rocket sweep.
Dan Petrick and Don Bartlett are wearing microphones for our game, and so we'll hear a little bit more from the inside, from the front end, as they brush a lot of panting. That's right.
Yeah, they're working hard.
The Scottish third. This is Graham Connell, who skipped the Scottish junior team at last year's Junior World Championships in Portage la Prairie, lost to Switzerland 5-4 in the World Junior Final.
Do you think there'd been a chance, Vic, back in ¡65 if they'd had television coverage? Sure, they would have put a sweep microphone on the lead of the Canadian team?
I won't be too down, though.
Oh, no, yeah, sure, they could have done that, yeah, but, I mean...
Think he would have been talking at all?
We would have heard very much. Would have had some poor censor wearing his fingers to a bone. Cut that out. You can't say that.
A little bit of a roll. Makes it a little bit tricky for Kevin Martin to get it by the back one, but...
You just keep the way off. Should have got away.
Easy. Kevin Martin and his first star on the Canadian skip here in the third, with Canada leading 2-1. Okay, throw it back. Killed his stone at the back of the 12. It continues to lie one.
Well, the reason, of course, he didn't want to do that is he wanted to continue to lie two so that he could force David Smith to take the single. And he would get the advantage of last rock back and...
But I can't believe, sorry, Ray, but I can't believe with that sweeping is you can hear the two not only working hard, but talking to each other as they're coming down the ice sweeping, saying harder, harder, trying to encourage each other because the line was off on that one. Boy, I can barely sweep, let alone talk and sweep.
But, you know, that's, you talked earlier with Carrie Williams about who was, you know, did she miss Melissa? And you get used to working with someone, and you do talk back and forth. Now, it's much easier, as you mentioned, on the slow shots, on the draws, than it is on those takeouts. But you're talking all the time, and...
It used to be really big with the corn brooms to get somebody sweeping with you to get that rhythm, too. And it's transferred to the brush now, the good communication and the talking about the weight.
So Scotland and Canada exchange stones in the 4-foot. This will be the final stone for Kevin Martin. Scotland with last rock, and looks like we're on our way to a blank end here in number 3.
Feel it.
David Smith had his final stone also. He's a big cricketer.
David's broomed himself very tight, and he's going to throw a lot of weight, peel weight.
Yep. Right.
Lots of rotation on the handle to try and get the action when they make contact, and spin the shooter out. There it is.
And so Scotland and Canada will blank this third end of play. It remains Canada 2, Scotland 1, the 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships.
All right, you're about to graduate into the Purex Pillow Gang. So never forget your mission in life is to be soft, much softer. That's right. Now, present softness.
We put hundreds of little pillows in every sheet. It's 2-ply softness, you can see.
I know something about McCain Super Fries that you don't know. Yeah, what? They're low in Saturday fat. I know something you don't know, McCain Super Fries. Yeah, what's that? The crystal free. I know something about McCain Super Fries that neither of you know. What's that? I just ate the last one.
Oven-baked McCain Super Fries. Low in saturated fats, cholesterol-free, and loaded with taste.
National Sports Center. For your sport, count on the lowest prices on equipment. For your problem, count on a hassle-free return policy. For your needs, count on a great selection. And you can count on Spalding for the ultimate edge. Officially official. Endorsed by more athletes. Spalding, the ultimate edge. National Sports Center. Count on total customer satisfaction. It's guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Winnipeg Arena and the 1991 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. Let's get you caught up now on scores here in this 14th round. Finland with a steal of 1 and 3, now leading 2-0 over Denmark. Finland still looking for their first win. France, Norway in men's competition tied 1-1 after a blank in 3. Scotland, Sweden, the ladies on the ice there, and it's 1-0 Sweden. Women on the ice, France and Norway. And look at this. The rink of Annick Mercier with Brigitte Lamy skipping, surprising Norway, and Dordi Nordby, the defending women's world champion, 3-0 as they play 4. And in our game, a blank of the third end means we go to the 4th with Canada leading 2-1 over Scotland, and David Smith, who says, put a corner guard out, please.
Yeah, David just going to ignore this and just try and get something going. It's what he tried last end as well. David Hay.
Okay, guys, let's hold this here.
Our viewers will remember 3/4 of this team from last year. Only the third, as we mentioned earlier, Graham Connell is new, replacing Michael Hay, who lived in Vancouver for a good part of the last year, but David's brother, but has now returned to Scotland, I understand, Linda.
He's not sure what he's going to do. He was hoping to get a new job this year, and it hasn't come through. So right now, he's gone back to Scotland. Played in the mixed provincial championships with the lead that I curled with in 1985, Laurie Carney played third for him. He had a really good run at the provincial title.
Roll it. That's good. Kevin running off the corner. David will throw up a couple corners, and then you'll see him play down to those stones sitting at the back of the rings. One at 9 o'clock and one at 7 o'clock if he doesn't get the nose hit on a corner. There's the call again.
It's interesting. There's no questioning or no doubt of his knowledge of the game and strategy as we've seen in other countries.
Absolutely not. He's been around too long. And so at the international level, Euro, the World Junior Championships. Front though, and we talked about that. When you want them out front, you got to get them there. Otherwise, it now allows Kevin Martin to hit it and lie three, and the play is in the rings, right where where Kevin Martin wants it.
Yeah, that's the second one that came in. The first Canadian stone, of course, was drawn in, but the other two stones that will be in there now are from hits because the Scottish stones were too deep.
Clean. Good. Shot down. Fire.
Winnipeg welcomes the world. Indeed they have for these 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. And this is the biggest crowd to date, nearly 12,000 and 156,200 plus, beating the previous record of 112 set in 1978.
And we're just getting warmed up.
What about here, eh?
You see where Kevin's doing? He wants it right here in front of his tee line. He wants to keep the play in front of the tee line.
Gotta keep it in front of the tee.
There's the comment. Otherwise, you allow David Smith to play down to the stones that are behind the tee line and use them. Heard Kevin Parks say, thank you, Kevin. In front of that tee line.
This will be the first stone for the Canadian third. Boy, I tell you what, somebody just took a picture with a flash right into his eyes.
Yeah, they've asked fans not to use any flashes. I'm sure that if that kind of thing continues, they'll get it stopped quickly.
Yeah, you don't need it either, and that's flash does you no good from that part.
Every inch.
And he's in front of the tee, into the top of the eighth.
Now listen, Kevin, I drew the circle on the rings a little bit further up than that.
Yeah,
Don't you miss that spot again.
Yeah. Oh, quite a bit at the end, actually.
I don't know what you'd end up with. Whenever I see two really good teams like this, we saw it at the Brier, and teams obviously that have their reputations and deserve their reputations come together. I really get quite excited about it. I guess it comes from a tremendous love for the game, but there's so many little things in this sport, the thinking aspect of the game, the planning, the psyching, all the little things you do to try and outpsych your opposition. David Smith trying to outskip Kevin Martin. Kevin Martin trying to outskip David Smith. Each member trying to outshoot their opponents. And we talked about the plus-minus situations.
Second stone, 2-1 Canada leading. Here in the fourth end, and Scotland does have last draw.
Just a little bit on the outside, and they'll roll this one a bit.
Roll down. Roll. Oh.
That's exactly what he called him.
Terrific positioning. The other thing, we talked about this, you and I too, is just the control weight. We saw last night a number of teams were throwing, up weight and in situations where they should be playing control weight.
On the nose, Graham.
Yeah, that's something I know the Scottish team maybe does more often than some of the others as well. But I've been watching the women, and the Scottish women, and even the Norwegian skip, Dorothy Nordby, when you need a crucial goal, they're still throwing that big weight, and the sweepers aren't able to contribute a lot to those shots because it's down there so fast, there's not a lot of control with it.
Right up.
Kevin Park just threw that beautifully.
There's no question in this game that the Scots are throwing a little bit more weight than the Canadians are. Graham Connell threw quite a bit more weight on that particular shot than Kevin Park did. In fairness to Graham, or to David Smith, who called the shot, the rock was over a little bit further. He may have felt he needed that little extra weight to hold it up, but I think consistently the Scots throw more weight than the Canadians.
This will be the first stone for the Canadian skip here in this fourth end of play.
Be there. I think I'm there, guys.
Kevin has this interesting thing. I think he does it on almost every shot. He doesn't take that backswing, and when he pulls the rock back, he seems to look down to check the positioning of the rock, make sure it's okay, and then slide out. It's quite an interesting little thing that he does.
Well, we'll take a look at it again, Linda. See what you're... Looks down.
Looks down to check the positioning, and now looks back up at the brush and slides straight through. Some people that don't take a backswing pull the rock too far into their body instead of straight back, and that throws them off on the follow-through. And maybe he's just checking, or maybe it's just a little habit he has.
This is interesting, this call here, Linda, because it is on the forefoot, and he's going to try and freeze to it. You may, in this case, play the hit and roll because it is so close to the forefoot, and you're just down to your first stone. David Smith throwing his first stone. So it's an aggressive call by David, and he's trying desperately to get those 2 points, but... The big reason here, of course, he knows that he can't go on to blank this thing, so he's going to continue on trying to get his deuce.
You don't really want to bump it up.
Doesn't work out, he'll have to try and get his single.
Yeah, touch it back a wee bit. He's got it there.
Touch it back a wee bit, he said. Good young curler from the Bonnie Isle. Lots of experience.
For weight. Plenty of room. For weight. For weight. Yep. Come on. For weight. Hurry. Hurry. Quick. Come on. Hurry. Quick. Right in there. Come on.
Great line. Has he got the weight, Linda?
I don't think it's going to tap it.
Come on. Quick. Hurry. Okay.
Boy, he sure had a great line. You add 2 feet more weight to that, and it's just perfect. A couple of options here.
Up to you. You can play it straight.
Just peel it.
Straight pick.
And he has to hit and stay. Well, you heard Kevin Park say we could go over there in that area there. You could also freeze it on the face of it like so, or you could do what they're doing, and that is to remove it like so.
One better than the other?
Well, I don't know.
Maybe if we knock them both out.
You know, I think he'd like to get it out of there. It's not just a simple pass, though. You have to catch it on the corner. You'll kill them both. You just heard him say, we'll kill them both. But
What's his thought here? If it's not there, then it can't work against me?
to get it out of the ring is because David Smith, if you happen to miss the draw, then David Smith could hit it on the nose, drive it back and get two. You sat in front of it, though. You forced David to draw to the forefoot for a single.
Oh, this is the final stone for Canada. Look at it, what a nice shot. Able to hold the race stone, and so Canada lying 3.
But it does now allow David Smith to draw to the 8-foot to get a single, and it's just a wide-open draw.
On these kind of shots, too, Ray, you have to assess who is throwing it. Not everybody can throw as precisely as Kevin Martin. For him, that was a very good call because he's a very accurate thrower, can throw the weight to ensure all the rock spill that he wants. Other people might choose to draw because they feel more confident with that kind of shot.
Always makes it interesting. You got to bump it, don't you?
They're talking about...
Would he try that, though, or would he just...
Yeah, he might just play it straight.
Yeah, he might anyway.
So that's what they're talking about.
This way he might flare it a little and throw it a little heavy.
If you get to this level, Linda, though, I really feel that there's... If you're going to be have a legitimate chance to win a world championship like these two teams have, you have to be able to play everything. You really do. I don't care. You have to be able to play everything, or you're going to... Eventually, it's going to cost you.
Oh, that's for sure. And we've seen both these teams play all the great shots over the years.
The final stone of this 4th end for Scotland, drawing against 3 Canadian stones.
Queen, you see. What is it? Good. What is it? Good.
Why is it skip? Right there.
Donald says it's right there. Top of the 4, and David Smith will pick up 1. We're all even again. It's 2-2, Scotland, Canada. It's the 14th round of the Canada Safeway World Curling Championships.
At the end of March, one of the most prestigious winter sports events in the world will be taking place in Western Canada. The Canada Safeway World Curling Championships at the Winnipeg Arena. The event brings together the top men's and women's competitors in the game and is indeed a proud moment for us all.
On behalf of our 22,000 employees in Western Canada, Canada Safeway is pleased to have been able to bring this fine event to the Canadian prairies.
You're up. You're 3 for 3. And you've got the most feared Easton bat of all. So you figure you'll get his best pitch. The high, hard one. But what if it's a curve or a changeup? No sweat. Everybody knows there's no known defense against an Easton, right? Wrong.
The thrills and excitement of NBA basketball are on TSN. Tension from division rivals and top teams on television's best basketball schedule keep you at the hoop. TSN takes you courtside for action only the NBA provides. It's a Western showdown in San Antonio. The Nuggets have nothing to lose, so they'll be going all out to cut down the offense of the high-flying San Antonio Spurs. The Nuggets and the Spurs, Saturday, 8:30 Eastern. It's the NBA on TSN.
Let's start getting you caught up a little bit now. Scotland and Sweden women's competition. It's the final stone for Christine Ellison of East Kilbride with a record of 3-3, 4th end against Sweden and Ed Norberg. She's going to come up light. It is a steal of 2 for Sweden with a record of 4-2, and now Sweden lead 3-0 going to 5. Denmark, Finland. Finland leading 2-0 playing 4. Final stone, Christian Thun Jacobsen of Copenhagen. The Finns looking to win their first. Denmark 2-4. They already lie 1 at the back of the 8-foot, and this is the open draw for 2, and the Danes make no mistake. It's all tied 2-2 as they go to the 5th end of play. France, Norway, women's play. It's 3-0. France leading as they play the 4th. Norway, Dorte Nordby at 5-1 against France, 1-5. Open draw for 2. She's got 1 top 8. Snuggles up nice and close. Picks up 2. It's 3-2. France leading Norway going to 5. 5 sheets in play here at the Winnipeg Arena for these 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. And in our featured game here in this 14th round, Scotland, Canada tied 2-2. 5th man play, and Canada looking for their 7th straight win. Do have last rock.
Nice rock.
Well, Canada with last rock, and David Smith threw it up in the center line. We just have seen Kevin hit that and roll to the corner, and now a decision for David Smith. Do I go back to the center line? Do I run off the corner guard? Center line is the call. You could go defend by going around it as well, as long as you keep it from the T line. But he's playing another center line guard right on the center line.
Yep, fine, bring it up.
I love these kind of games. I do. You know, there's when you get two really top teams like this, it's just there's excitement, and the fans in this building can feel it too.
I think there was some disappointment when Canada played Norway.
Yes,
Former world champion Igor Ramsfeld was expected to come out very strongly and didn't. Canada winning that one 7-1. And so they're eager. They're waiting for a game like this where both teams perform well.
How are they going here?
Now that's a community effort, is it not?
Everybody getting into the act to get that center line guard across the hog line.
We had a skip that used to run up and help out, and we just tell him, would you mind? You're slowing the stone down.
Yeah, I was told exactly the same thing. You're getting your feet in the way, the broom in the way.
Get out of there.
The Canadian second, Dan Petrick.
How's that weight? How's the line? Yep. Rum! Weight's good. Rum!
Clean it.
Lots of rum! Wait, Kevin. Clean. There goes! Okay, whoa. A little warm, a little hot, a little hot.
He wants to keep this.
Coming in nice now.
Stay close.
Yep.
You know, caught something. Look at how it stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, I just caught something. The guard was so long, it just got over the hog line, that Kevin Martin just said, okay, I'm going to try and get my 2 points inside the 4 foot, and that's why he came around. And
but it really looked like it threw anchor. Because
oh, it did. They weren't even brushing it. It's perfect right here. It's going to
watch here.
Now watch.
What?
Somebody throws it out right there. Bingo.
Yeah, we're
the only corn broom on the ice belongs to Kevin Martin, so
have to keep an eye on it.
You should know.
This area.
Good chance for David Smith.
He's coming around with the out turn.
Second man, Peter Smith. Good drill too much.
Yeah, on the guard.
Big crowd tonight and might be flattening out a little bit. We saw that last night, Linda.
Yeah. Comes a little soft, loses the pebble.
Dan, that was nice weight.
And there's some suggestion, of course, when you're right beside the crowd, that the sheet might heat up just a little bit more quickly, certainly, than sheets towards the middle.
The nice thing about curling is these fans are right in the game, aren't they? They're 4 feet from the ice surface.
Yep. Line's good. Hurry! Hurry!
Dan Petrick on his second stone.
Kevin playing the raise.
Hard!
No. Still come out into the open. Just curled a little too much.
Top 4. But yes, wide open.
Hard.
No.
Dan Petrick, as he watched his last stone.
Dan's definitely curled. Yeah. I thought he'd be a little back there.
You can see the ice gauges, the ice temperature gauges.
The ice maker. Remember in Saskatoon, I think it was when the ice was heating up, the temperature was almost 26 degrees rather, and 24 degrees is warm. It's not quite as bad.
Down normal right here. Roll it out to the wing. It's going to roll out to the wing. What can I get?
first stone for the Canadian third, Kevin Park, as we play the fifth end in a 2-2 tie with Scotland.
They're going to have to really anticipate these rolls. It looks like the rocks are a bit dead again with the ice softening.
There's the roll. There's a peek out the other side. No, there's another guard there covering the edge of the 8.
There's the long guard. That yellow one on the right is protecting the one in the rings. Then you have the center line guard.
26.
And Scotland will again try the out-turn draw.
The Scottish third, Graham Connell.
Plenty room. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Way up there. Plenty room. No. Yeah. No. Let it grind. Whoop, whoop. Easy.
That'll fight the top of the 8, but that was fully open.
Well, the positioning of that rock makes it such that they don't want to go after it.
Base of it, knock them into the can there. Make sure we stay on this side of it. It will.
The reason being it's almost fully exposed, but if they hit what they can see, they might drive it back on their own rock.
Oh, but it floats there. We're liable to just jam it right back. Yeah, oh, yeah.
You want to just play it here?
For the red one, you mean? The raise of the roll. The roll our shooter end.
If you could do that, if you could get this roll to here.
Right, you roll both the shooter end. That's a jam on that one.
Well, yeah, that's a jam. Half a rock's a jam. Let's try it. Just hack weight right here. Hack weight. You'll make it.
I don't know if Kevin Park is so sure that the angle is right, but they're going to try it with quiet weight.
What's wrong with the bump on the yellow one? We're shot rock back there already. Oh, yeah. Oh, let's play that bump.
Huh?
Doesn't look good from here.
Kevin Park wants to play the raise. Is that what he wants to do?
Yes, he does. He wants to play the center line yellow stone. They're worried about the angle of the red one coming back on their own stone.
I think rightly so. Kevin Park's
make it.
worried that he can jam it back onto his own stone. They're line one. That's the point. That's what he was saying.
Well, we could remove the guard.
Kevin Park doesn't like it there.
Confidence on more, I think.
You can play the split here, Linda, and ride two off it. You can draw around the guard as they indicate. David's taking a little look at the split.
Fraction weight. Try it in 26. Yep.
You play to come around?
It was a little hard to tell, wasn't it? It runs fairly straight there.
Yeah, that's not enough height for the split, though, I don't think. stoppage time remaining, taking it down to 42 minutes. Both rinks given 75 minutes to complete their game. Thought is that 6.5 to 7 minutes is the usual required time to play an end.
That's what he was playing, Lindy. You were right. That was enough ice to the split, obviously, because he made it perfectly.
That's a straight spot.
Yeah, it sure is.
Really a lot of Scottish support here at the Winnipeg Arena.
Certainly turned an end around, though, didn't it?
Yeah, boy, they're sweeping hard at the end. And then take the roll. Chance for Kevin to make a hit in a roll.
So hard, really hard. Hurry. Good. Okay. There's the hit, but no roll. Yeah, I think so, and I think the second stone belongs to Scotland, the red stone at about 1 o'clock.
If you go anywhere in the way, you're going to hang it. It's on the nose, the sweep it dancing right back to the road.
This one is they don't want to set up a double by leaving the shooter in the wrong position.
That's all he's really afraid of is setting up the double, so he's looking at...
Got to watch if we don't roll right, you know, roll on the pin line, it's an easy double for the guy.
Rolling right over in behind the guard, but...
3/4 of that check over. And it's not going to come and pound it and take it another way across.
This will be the final stone for Scotland here on this fifth end. Canada does have last rock. And he sits right there.
Well, the double's there. That's what he was afraid of.
A little more weight.
Double for 2.
And 2 would give him a 2-point lead. Canada going to the fifth end break.
Throw a little more weight.
Scotland with last rock picked up 1 in the first. Canada replied with 2 in the second. They blanked 3, and then Scotland taking 1 in the 4. Gets us to this point here, a 2-2 tie. Fifth end, final stone for Kevin Martin, looking to make the double and score a pair.
Must be close.
There's one. Did he tap it enough? Yes, he did.
Are you still living with this nightmare? Over 1 million motorists have said never again. They've switched to Triple Edge, the world's first high-tech windshield wiper. It clears, it cleans, it wipes dry, all in a single pass. And Triple Edge wipers won't tear, dry rot, or freeze to your windshield. They're made from DuPont Nordel, used in radial tires. So strong that if they ever fail, we'll replace them free. Triple Edge gives you visibility through the heaviest downpour. It whisks away snow and ice. Even mud is no match for Triple Edge. They're $29.95 a pair. Custom fit to install in seconds. No noise, no streaking, no smearing, no tearing. They're the last windshield wipers you'll ever buy.
Call toll-free 1-800-543-1007 or send $29.95 plus $4.95 shipping and handling to Triple Edge Wipers, P.O. Box 747, Station A, Department 126, Downsview, Ontario.
This sports update is brought to you by Petro-Canada, dealers and agents, committed to Canadians.
Hello there, I'm Paul Romanek here at TSN Control. Hope you're enjoying the curling. Some hockey action to update you on now. The Hartford Whalers are playing the New Jersey Devils. Not a bad matchup here. Sean Burke getting the start in goal for the New Jersey Devils. He has been struggling this season. See if his team can give him a little bit of support tonight. They do early on in the first period. Kirk Muller, nice shot to beat Peter Sidorkovich. The Devils are up 1-0. Then in the second period, they're up 2-0. John Cullen's shot will bounce off of Pat Verbeek and in behind Sean Burke. It's been that kind of a year for Sean Burke. A lot of deflections, a lot of tough goals. Hartford is leading 3-2. They're in the second period of this one. Verbeek with a pair for Hartford. Zarley Zalapsky with the other. Muller and Brown have scored for New Jersey. Pittsburgh playing Detroit. They lead 4-3. A win tonight for the Penguins would clinch first place for them in the Patrick division. Heading into this game, they are 2 points up on the New York Rangers with 3 games to go. The Rangers with a pair. Now this.
Vem! Olga, привет! Это символ Канады. У него точно такой же значок Maple Leaf, как у меня, мы с ним братья.
Because you're like a brother because you wear the maple leaf like him.
Вы должны быть счастливы, что живете.
And he thinks you're a very lucky person to be living here.
Really? Tell him he's right.
Petro-Canada, committed to Canadians.
Wonderful week so far here in Winnipeg, and to think that the best is yet to come. So much credit has to go to the volunteers and the organizing committee, headed by their president and chief executive officer, Al McIntavish, who is with Ray.
Well, Al, I know as a Winnipegger, I'm unbelievably proud. You must just be delighted.
I certainly am, Ray. The whole show has just been wonderful at this point in time. The contribution of the volunteers, their dedication, the media, the corporate sponsors, just everybody. It's just been a fantastic show, beyond our fondest expectations.
And we're just getting warmed up, Al.
Well, that's right. You look at tonight, I don't know what we got here tonight, but it's no doubt it's the largest crowd we've had. It's got to be over 12,000.
Yeah, it's around 12,000, and you set the record yesterday, I believe, in attendance, with beating your own record from 1978. So, and everything is just falling into place. The curling looks like it's sensational tonight. It looks like it'll get better as the week goes on, and the fans are really in the game.
That's for sure. And, you know, we talk about new rules coming in, and when you put ice the way we have put ice in here, they're playing just a game that the fans are enjoying.
They sure are. How about the things around the World Championships this year? For example, how's the Hogline Inn doing?
It's doing quite well. I don't know if you've been over there yet, but there's a tremendous amount of camaraderie, and you put 4,000 people into the place, and the place really jumps.
The whole feeling is so warm. You were in Västra Sweden with us last year, and we're certainly not in any way wanting to put that event down, but it's so much different when you have the people in the building.
Oh, that's for sure. And I think, you know, you got to give a credit to the Canadians and the visitors and our Winnipeg people. They've come here, and they're just having a tremendous time, and that's what we're trying to do. When they leave here, we want them to say that they had just a tremendous time and the best curling event they've ever been to.
Well, I congratulate you and your committee, Al, for a job really well done. Vic, we're seeing a great show here tonight. Great curling by both teams.
No doubt about it, as the Canadian rink gets a little coaching, discusses their 4-2 lead, taking the fifth end break here in Winnipeg. Reminder to stay with us right after this great game between Canada and Scotland for the TSN Turning Point. And, of course, it's brought to you by National Trust. Welcome back to Winnipeg and the 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. Let's get you caught up in scores now. And look at this. Denmark has come back to take the lead over Finland 3-2 as they play 7, a blank in 6. The steal of 1 in the 5th, giving Denmark the lead. France and Norway still tied 1-1. Blank in 3, blank in 4, blank in 5. Blankety blank kind of game. 4-0. Sweden leading Scotland, and the Scots in danger there of falling to 3 and 4 in women's play. France and Norway 3-3 as they play 6. And in our featured game, what a great double takeout to score 2 for Canada in the 5th, and they now lead 4-2 over Scotland, and we're back underway. This the first stone for the Scottish lead. David Hay with 1 Canadian centerline guard just off the center line in front.
And I was just thinking after 5 ends that I couldn't remember Don Bartlett missing his shot and what had happened. Of course, he nose hit the front rock instead of rolling off as they wished. And there's a great cover around by Scotland. They're going to have to make some of these shots to get back now that they've fallen behind the 2 points.
And I said that was the first stone for the Scottish lead. David Hay, that was his second. So we're playing second stones now here in this 6th end.
Great deal.
David Smith has to come back. He trails by 2.
Clean. Good shot.
I know it was a bit tight, but these are sure curled at the end.
Do you think so? Do you think it was ever off the nose?
No, I had 3/4.
Think so?
Well, interesting. Kevin Martin and Don Bartlett still talking about that nose hit that you were referring to.
Yeah, Don thought he threw it all right and that it would roll a little bit. And Kevin saying, well, it came up a lot at the end.
Wait there.
The interesting thing about Kevin Martin's last shot is that when David Smith threw his, you heard him say, we can't afford to hit it on the nose. If we hit it on the nose, we'll leave him the double. And David Smith knew that, and that's exactly what happened. And it was a lovely shot by Kevin Martin. He just threw a little bit more weight. But we got a nose hit here, and now a rock in the ring, so a chance for the Scots to get their deuce. And that's what you see, Linda, when you get the top teams. They both know how to play. They both know how to catch up. They both know how to defend. But the ice is working a little bit tonight, so we're getting some movement, and peeling isn't quite as simple.
Did Donnie turn his? Oh, yeah. Right on.
David Smith is being forced into a slightly different style of game now because that nose hit was on a center line rock, which he came around. That means that splitting the house is not as simple. The one rock being so close to center, you can't separate your stones as well. That's why he's decided to keep guarding this stone, trying to protect it, and then later take the second point in. Quite often you would just see the team bring the rock into the rings now.
Easy now, easy.
They'll protect it a couple of times, and then they'll go to the rings and exchange stones and try and score their 2 that way. And that's a good fundamental for curlers, young competitive curlers that are, just trying to improve themselves. As Linda just mentioned, I'll just be quiet for a second.
This time so they can't get 3 if you stick around here. Okay. All right.
Play the peel. Wants to play the peel, get it off of there. Just to go back to finish what Linda was talking about, Dick, is that it's something to remember. Now, if you had gone right to the rings, if David Smith had gone right to the rings, then he would have had to exchange stones about 5 or 6 times to get his deuce. And sometimes that's difficult. So you throw up the guard, you protect it 2 or 3 times, and then you go and split the rings.
Kevin Park and the first stone for the Canadian third here in end number 6.
Here's the peel.
Shot. That's how you bend that stick.
Down to the thirds first. He's going to protect it once more. You can't miss these guards.
young curler.
Okay, easy, Dave, easy. Easy. Long, Dave, long. No, no. No, no. Right up. Right up. No, no. Right up.
And you don't want to get these too close to them. If you get them too close, they'll play the run-through on you. When they're out a little bit, Kevin Martin doesn't want to play the run-through in case he just misses it. Then all of a sudden, bang, around you come and you got 3.
I like this. Okay. Hack weight.
I curled a little too much.
Weight? Just hacks.
You can see a corner, so now we'll play hack weight.
Good numbers being put on the board so far by the 2/3. Graham Connell, Kevin Park.
The hack.
A little more than hack weight, I think.
Yes, they wanted to stay in the rings on the side and maybe pull David away from the guard area. But he can come right back around it now.
Yep, sure. Hands about 6 feet short, Graham. Okay.
Nice smile.
Yep, line, yep.
Yes for line, he says.
Wait.
That's on the guard.
How you doing?
A little bit light as well.
Yeah, it was light. Because they brushed it right from the time they let it go.
Show them a half. 14? You don't want to bury it, though, huh?
Yeah. Interesting here with the rocks sitting one in front of the other. If they completely buried around those guards, David Smith would have what we call a natural on the front ones.
Yeah.
They'd be lined up on the rock in the house.
They're lined up pretty good. That area. They're kind of lined up the wrong way. So you can
what Linda's talking about is that you heard Kevin Martin say, let's show him a half. He wants to get it here like so, because if he made the good shot and got it in behind here like so, as Linda mentioned, this is a natural.
We're there. Oh, right on. Lot of room. I think I'm not heavy. Oh, yeah, you're big. Big. Lot of room. Big. Lot of room. Lot of room. Lot of room. Come on. Lot of room. We're there. Yep. Hard.
Now it should finish.
Yep.
Peek out the other side.
Well, I think they're lined up, though, aren't they? Maybe Kevin Martin will move out of the way for us.
Yeah, you go for the draw and try and get it. Try and get past.
They've thrown too much, Linda.
Yeah, it's not bad now because it's actually showing only a half.
Angle right.
Yeah.
The other way, he was trying to show a half one way.
Okay, straight back, no? Yeah, on the nose of the red one. And mine on the nose of the first one. Dead straight.
How far apart are these? We're going to take a look and see. You can hit it just on the corner.
The shot is definitely there. What he's trying to line up is whether his shooter would stay behind the guards, or at least the rock he raised in would stay behind the guards that were left in front after his shooter came to rest.
Well, I think the big thing here, too, is how far they are apart. You know, I mean, you have to hit it properly.
That's right.
The further they are apart. That's what he's playing. That gives you a good look at it. There's about 6 inches, I think, between those two stones. 4 to 6.
Well, they are the two of the premier skips in the world at this moment.
Might get the roll home. Oh, this is easy.
Well, Kevin Martin thinks that David Smith can make this shot with his first stone here in the 6th inning of play. Canada leading 4-2, and Scotland does have last rock. They're back. Did he get it? Yes, sir. That's the way it's done.
Great curling, David Smith. It was there, but you still have to make them. You know,
But what's great about it is his rocks aren't lined up. There's no way to hit
That's
that
right.
one. Kevin Martin has to draw. They played it slightly on the outside of the front rock to get the proper movement. There you see the shooter sits nicely and it drives it straight back.
good call by Graham Connell. Absolutely hit it perfect. Couldn't have hit it better. Kevin Martin has nothing but to try and come around, as he did with his first one.
If he makes it perfectly, though, it falls right back to David Smith. He won't be able to raise those rocks either. He'd have to just draw.
Second stone for Martin.
A little finish, but will it finish this much? Got a little more weight, too.
Yeah, finishes at the back of the 4.
Thought I had to get in there. I don't think it made much difference.
Take a look at it here. At this point here, it looks like it's going to be pretty well open, and right now it starts to move. You can see it. Now watch the last 4 feet. It comes right over. Now it's still there for David Smith, and he has to play this. We'll try and listen to him.
Sure finishes. What if he gets it out too far?
Sure finishes. If he gets it out too far, it'll maybe ride on you.
He's saying a bit more than that for goal weight. Well, you just want to make sure you get shot. If you can sweep it onto it, take it back. Number 6, is it?
These are the soft shots we talk about, Nick. This is what makes the game fun. Rocks in play.
And the shot that, kind of shot that he's been criticized, David Smith, for not being able to play. So we'll get an example here. There's no doubt that he can make them.
Not by me. He just plays the other ones so well, he never has to play these.
That's right.
The final stone, then, of this 6th end of play. And the opportunity for Scotland and David Smith to even it up one more time.
Got the weight. It's got to finish right now. Here it comes. What a great shot. Yes, yes.
2 on the board for Scotland in the 6th, and it's all even. A great finish. Hey, we're not finished yet. More to come. 14th round World Curling Championships.
Stomach troubles. They can blow in like an ocean storm, bringing heartburn, or upset stomach, or even diarrhea. That's why you should always have Pepto-Bismol on board. Pepto's special triple-action coating formula goes to work quickly to cool heartburn, calm upset stomach, and relieve diarrhea with a layer of effective soothing pink medication. Pepto-Bismol's triple-action coating formula turns tummy troubles into smooth sailing.
I'm not the kind of guy to mess with my hair, and I'm sure not going to mess with shampoo and conditioner. So I found an easy way to get my hair the way I want it, with Pert Plus. It's simple. It's complete shampoo plus complete conditioner in one bottle. I just wash my hair, and Pert Plus leaves it clean, conditioned, and easy to manage. So you don't need 2 bottles of stuff. With Pert Plus, you just wash and go.
Pert Plus cleans and conditions in just 1 step.
testing 17 contenders the Automobile Journalist Association of Canada voted the Subaru Legacy Family Sedan of the Year again.
Well, two of the best skips at these World Championships put on quite a show. This is the sixth stand to play, 4-2, Canada leading, and this is the first stone for Kevin Martin using those two centerline guards.
He gets right around here, Vic, and it actually maybe curled a little too much on me. He wanted to leave half open on the other side, and David Smith has a great chance for the run back, the double run back. It was lined up for him, but you have to hit it right, and he made it. Now Kevin Martin has to try and hide his next shot. It stays out a little longer than he wanted, but at the end it starts to make a move. See it coming across the hog line now. Top of the 12-foot, top of the 8-foot. Now it really moves across. Gets it to the back of the 4-foot. They take it so he can get it buried as much as he can. And the last shot for David Smith was just a peach. He has absolutely the perfect weight. This is a weight shot, a control shot. So you think he can't play the soft game? There's two.
And we're all tied up 4-4 going to the seventh end of play. The 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships 14th round action here on TSN. This is the Scottish second. Peter Smith, Canada with last rock here in the seventh.
Looking for centerline guard. Come on.
Get it in the center. Okay.
It's too long, really, so Kevin Martin will go around it. He needed that a little tighter. So the end's on again, Linda.
Well, we've seen some tremendous draws.
The Canadian second, Dan Petrick.
In front of the line, guys. Okay, line's good. Line's top good. Of the rings. Yep. Clean. Okay, got room. Clean. Oh. Clean. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. There and then some. Don't really need T-line.
We wanted to know in this 14th round, who was the first Alberta skip to win the World Championship? Ray?
I think he's here, isn't he?
I think
Hector
so.
Bay?
Yeah, 1961.
Big heck. You're right. Look at that.
There he is in 61. Do we have a shot of him now, though?
Yeah.
There he is now. Turn around, Hector, you coward. He's hiding on us, boy.
No, I know. He's coming up.
He's coming to talk to us.
There you go. Got up to see you.
This is when it gets fun, all these little tap backs. You're positioning your rocks to try and make good on your last one. Scotland would like the steal, of course, and Canada trying to set up their two.
Back line, yep.
Well, there's 12,000 people here, or just under 12,000, and they came to watch a good curling game, and they're certainly being treated to one. Actually, as you look across the ice, Linda, there's some excellent games out there.
Wait. Hey, hard, 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 hard! Fire! Fire! Hurry! Hard! Hard!
Got it by, yeah.
Oh!
Not enough.
Just went nuts.
They just didn't finish.
Good, good.
Threw it well, Kevin Martin says.
Yep. 27. Guard up there.
That was sort of a strange one, Ray, because it looked like he barely got by the guard, and then it didn't keep curling because he didn't make enough contact with the shot rock.
You heard Kevin Martin say it went crazy.
Give you that last time to come in the front ring. Try that.
27. Top of the 12 foot, he says.
Scotland's using numbers 26, 27. I think what they're using for timing for their stopwatches is actually touchdown, where the rock sets down to where it stops in the rings. It's not used by a lot of teams, but it's obviously using the entire length of the sheet to measure the weight.
This the first stone for the Scottish third. Graham Connell in this 7th end tied 4-4 with Canada.
Well, that's exactly what he didn't want to do. Now it's open.
I think we have to throw probably takeout. Hey, even a little less than that, or it might pull here. Let's go board.
That's what he has to come through. And right down, you heard him say, you better be throw board
right
weight.
Here. Middle of the hole. Board weight. Even this.
Kevin Park. Through the port, yes. Got the stone? Yes. And Canada lies 3, and they have last rock here in the 7th.
A little side bottom on that thing.
Little side bottom. He's playing pool now.
When Scotland chipped that guard, it left this opportunity for Canada, and they took full advantage of it. Graham's going to have to make a big shot here. Draw through the port.
You got to make this one, otherwise they'll close it on you, and you're going to give up a big. They'll give up a big end.
Way up there. Right out.
Tight the first time. It sounds like this time he's a little bit full of the broom.
No. It's not like it. Who dumped the gap there in the first place? Nice stuff like this in there. May have them up there.
You hear what David Smith is saying? I didn't want the guard up there in the first place. I didn't want the long guard. I wanted it tight.
Well, it's all collapsing right now around
you just
Scotland.
Way inside. That drill like hell, James. I gave you the edge of the, just off the edge of the 4 foot. It's 2 or lighter weights, so. Yeah? 2 or lighter weights. Yeah, but I gave you middle of the 8 foot for your guard. I gave you edge of the 4 foot last time when you came round and dropped the 8 foot down here. Mine 2 ends ago. It can't be deep with it. It's a top deep.
So I'll give you a little better than 14? Yeah, oh, long way. All right.
Well, this sets up just a golden opportunity for Canada. They have advantage of last rock. They're lying 3, drawing to lie 4. Rocks in the house are covered.
We're there. A lot of room. Oh. T-line. T-line. Yep. T-line plus. T-line plus. They are.
Listen to Don Bartlett, Bark it out. T-line plus.
They are. Never. A little bit. Okay. All right. Too bad.
Johnny Bartlett, Dan Petrick calling out the weight all the way down.
Well, a little bit. Good way.
There's a good look at it.
Trying to straight plastic gun from way in the 4 foot. Oh, that, you flatter that one. Try and get the double. So you're always going to be checking that way. Yeah. You will be able to see. Eh? You'll be able to see how much you're doing. Yeah. The draws are sure. Even if you come in and sit on top of his one there, you might be second shot.
Well, they don't think they can see enough of it to play the hit, so they're talking about the draw.
If they they just draw to the face of it, they'll be fourth shot, it looks like.
Well, you don't think it'll curl enough when you got a long way by that guard, Lynn. You don't think it'll curl enough to come across?
Well, I think it possibly could, but we've seen some rocks do some strange things here.
You know, maybe I just see something different here, but is there not?
You know, if you come down here, you got enough room in this area here to get it by here, and I think you can sneak it right into this area here. I think that's what he's thinking.
Just thinking back to the one Canadian stone that seemed to curl really hard to the guard and then go straight. It's going to have to finish past that guard. Now, the guard's a long way in front of the ring, so you would assume that it wouldn't be a problem. We just have
and then there's the other possibility, sorry to interrupt him, where you can just, if you just tick the high one and just kind of flip over it. You may not be shot rock.
But you might be second shot.
Yeah, and it'll be impossible to get it out of there. It's a big shot for David Smith.
And you couldn't play the upweight and just try and pick a stone out of there, huh?
Well, there's 4 in there, Dick, so that's not going to do any good.
Wait. Yep, Mike. Hurry! Hurry! Quick! 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 Hurry!
They've got it by now. Doesn't have enough to come across and catch the 4-foot.
Take it! What? Take it! Throw it!
Cuts them down.
It just didn't finish for him. Then it was right.
Hold it on her.
They had to brush it hard to get it by.
He didn't move and come by nothing, and he still didn't make his shot.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bad break. I think David Smith thought it would. I certainly thought it would finish enough to catch it on the corner a little bit. But, you know, it just got by the front guard. I mean, it just got by it, and then it didn't curl hardly at all after that.
Plenty.
We're going to let you call the ice from our team, okay?
Okay.
Once the lead, once the lead, always the lead, it looks like.
This seems to be a really tricky spot.
The first stone for Kevin Martin here in end number 7 in a 4-4 tie, and he does have last rock.
Hurry, keep it straight. Hurry. Wait's good.
Just playing the guard.
Wait's line. Needs to bend. We're there. Hope needs to bend.
Watch it. How is it?
Perfect. Yes. Hurry. Hard. Right up. No. Hard. Right. Good. That's good. Hard, boy.
Yeah, this is where it's tricky for Scotland.
Well, he doesn't want to open it up for him.
He plays any one of the raises or tries to get by thin and ticks them. He's going to make it easier for Canada.
Go there around the guard for the 3. Wide one eye.
You heard David Smith say he could still draw around here into there for his 3 points, like so. They're looking maybe at this stone here, bringing this stone back here, but you got to be careful you don't hit your own.
That's a big weight. Nick Moon went out. No. Back ring weight.
Back ring weight.
Yeah, try there. Even if I miss it, I'm not doing an awful lot of damage.
So he's going to play this one with back ring weight. Try and push this rock back here into that pocket. Won't be quite that crooked.
I think this was a good call because he doesn't have a lot. It doesn't disturb the center rock, so it's not as dangerous. But it's tough out here. He's outside the frost line. It could be a little bit heavier. It has to be the perfect weight. It has to hang a little bit.
We're line second shot at the moment. Back ring weight. Try and catch half it. Roll it in there. Yeah, we're line third. We're line 2 again.
It's really all he's got.
That's enough for that.
Canada picked up 2 and 5. Scotland with 2 and 6 to tie it 4-4, and Canada threatening to grab more than 2 here in this 7th end of play. The angled raise. Final stone for Scotland.
Yep, one.
And David Smith.
Hurry! Whoa! Roll in.
He's missed the shot, I think. No? that it wasn't going to come up enough when he was watching down the ice, and they all looked so casual about it. I thought it must be off the line. Perfect shot.
Well, you know, now that's you at the ice, Moosey. You with the missed shot, I think.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
here
no,
when
he
they
did.
got
He called it off it. Yeah, he
when
did.
they called off it, I thought he said it wasn't going to make it.
Well, I think for a minute he thought he was going to hit his own, and that's why they were afraid of it. It just, at the last moment, it curls a little bit. And, you know, these angles are hard to tell when so much distance is involved. And I really think that he felt that he maybe hit it, you know, onto his own. And it works out just perfect.
He didn't really have to do much at all to take that one.
Yep. Oh, my.
Well, there's a wrong way and a safe way, and he made it the safe way. Yeah.
That was great weight control, perfect calling on the sweeping. Great shot. All Canada has now is the long raise, and if they made the double, they would count, what, 3, 4 maybe, depending on how they hit those red stones raised. But I don't know. This is a tough shot.
Tough double. He's got to hit it. He's going to try and hit it across the face of the stone that's on the button. Otherwise, he'd drive the red one into the yellow one, and then you give up 2. You don't want to do that.
Oh, unbelievable.
Is that weight?
Canada was looking to maybe score 2 and 3, and now they're trying to save themselves. And they're going to give up a steal of 1 after a brilliant raise by David Smith. And Scotland will take a 5-4 lead. And how quickly things can change with just 1 shot.
With new cheese nibblers from McCain, the delicious, nutritious snack that satisfies your sudden hunger as only the taste of real cheese can. McCain makes nibblers from 100% cheddar, mozzarella, Monterey, marble cheese in convenient single snacks and multi-packs. So when you feel a snack attack coming on, grab a McCain cheese nibbler.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. You know, for years I've been helping people turn average homes into their dream houses, like Dave and Marianne Corbett. They love this place, but they can still see room for improvement.
That's right, Bob. You know, for one thing, the kitchen, it's too dark.
Maybe some track lighting would help.
Oh, that's an idea.
Most people don't realize how easy it is to improve a home and increase its value with a few simple projects. And Time Life Books' Home Repair and Improvement series can guide you through practically any job. Call now for your first book, Kitchens and Bathrooms, for a free 15-day examination. Other books will follow about every other month, always on the same free trial basis. Keep only those you want. Cancel anytime. Remember, your home is your biggest investment. With a little help from Time Life Books, you can make sure it keeps on growing in value.
To examine kitchens and bathrooms free for 15 days, call 1-800-854-2200. Keep it and pay just $14.99 plus shipping and handling. You'll also get the Stanley tape measure free, so call 1-800-854-2200.
Let's update some of the other games for you now. Men's game, France and Norway. This is the final stone for Eigil Remsfeld. They did a measure. There are 3 stones around, actually 4 stones around the 4-foot. Norway would pick up 2 and now lead. France 3-2 going to 8. Women's play, Scotland and Sweden. This is Annette Norberg of Harnesen, the Swedish skip, her final stone, leading 4-2 over Scotland. She'll draw for her single point in 8 and now leads by a score of 5-2 over Christine Ellison of East Kilbride. Here are all the scores as we near the end of this 14th round. Finland, will they win their first? They lead by 2 over Denmark. Norway by 1 over France, and Scotland, that's men's competition, 5-4 over Canada, the brilliant shot. And the 2 women's games, we updated the Swedish game, and Norway ahead of France. Dordy Nordby has come back to take a 5-3 lead. Well, this was the final stone for David Smith, and I think you're right, Linda, because he said, you could hear him say, roll it in, as if he was going to, he had missed the shot, but you can't can't miss them any better than this.
I thought when he said roll it in, he thought he was going to hit his own and have to roll the shooter, but no problem.
And now it leaves, after it just completely turned the end around for Canada, Kevin Martin, because he looked like he might be able to score 2 or 3. He had a long angle double take out of his own. He misses it, and it's a steal of 1 for Scotland. So we go to the 8th with Scotland leading 5-4, Canada with last drop.
Scotland put their first stone in the 8th foot. That's the stone sitting in the 8th foot at 2 o'clock. And Kevin Martin threw up the corner guard. You can see sitting over to the right. David Smith didn't go up and peel it off. He drew in behind it. Kevin Martin asked for another front rock, and that's what he got. So David isn't going to run in this game. He's going to play. So let's curl. We got a big crowd here. Let's give them some entertainment. And they've certainly done that so far.
Well, the skip, David Smith, bailed his team out there, as he wasn't too pleased with the way that front ended put up some of those stones.
On the third, ticked once and was a little wide on one.
Clean. Easy now.
I guess even though David Smith maybe thought he'd missed a shot, he was a long way away. He made a good point, Ray. Maybe Graham Connell thought the shot was there and just didn't call out to us, because he seemed to be looking at the angle very carefully.
They left that a little while.
Look at the flash marks up there.
Hit and roll now.
Actually, play this. Big shots. Keep it clean. Okay.
If you don't make this, then you're in trouble.
Keep it clean, you guys.
Boy, there's a piece of straw for you. Or do something to a rock if it ran over it.
Hurry! Stop. Hard, 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 hard!
Dan Petrick.
Hard! Right up! Hard up!
Going to get them both. There's one. Roll across.
Great shot!
Big shot is right. Might. Breeze down on top of it.
You come on the nose of his feet. Just sit there. Even if you touch your own a few inches and sit on the nose of his left angle. Same draw.
Breathing down to it.
You feel everything. He's just going to come round. You want to?
See what David Smith is afraid
Try and get the nose then.
of getting them all out of there, then just leave Kevin Martin the straight come around. To get them both, you have to hit it on the outside, so you'll lose your shooter. You can definitely get them both out of there, but
I think they might be able to stay, but it's a question of where the shooter would stay in the rings.
This is the second stone for Peter Smith. Update for you, the game between France and Norway. Dominic Dupont-Roch not skipping this ring from Megève. Thierry Mercier will hit and roll out and give up the steal of one at the 8 foot. And so Norway now 4-2 over France. Eigil Ramsfeld has come back. When we saw France earlier in the week, we knew that Dominic Dupont-Roch was bothered by what, knees and a thigh problem? Or?
Well, he had a right knee operation, and he had to compensate with his delivery, and his left knee's hurting him.
Great shot.
So Thierry Mercier skipping that French ring against Eigil Ramsfeld in Norway.
well, that's what David was afraid of. Leaving the stone there and the roll available, or as I suggested, maybe you hit it on the outside and kill them both, then he could have drawn behind there.
Shit all over the shoes. What do you see that, Graham? See that half? Half! You better. See if you make that. Right way.
The Scottish third is Graham Connell.
They want to play with good weight just in case it over-curled and they tick the guard.
Through the hole, catch a corner, onto your own, bang, and that stone will stay.
Crank them up when we get close to the ring. I'm going to throw 13.
They can't throw by you.
Kevin Martin.
It's also true, too, though, when you finish your shot, the ice now belongs to the other team, and you're actually not supposed to take your brush and clean off the ice.
He suggests to David Smith that Kevin Park can't throw it by you, asking him kind of politely to get that H out of the way.
A lot of weight.
Clean.
Watch it when it hits the corn in the house.
Get off there.
Good shot.
Back of the 8-foot shot stone.
Play 5, play 6. Draw 8, Graham.
Update for you, the game between Scotland and Sweden, with Sweden leading 5-2 over Christine Ellison of East Kilbride. And this the final stone for the Scottish skip coming into this 14th round with a record of 3-3. Sweden at 4-2, drawing against 2 stones around the 12-foot. Drawing against 3, one at the back of the 4. And she'll come up light. It'll be a steal of 1 for Sweden. And that's it. Handshakes there, 6-2 final, and so Scotland, the women's side now 3-4, Sweden, and at Norberg of Harlesand 5-2.
Wait, good. Okay. Hurry.
Wait for it, he says.
Wait there.
Wait there.
Wait there. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Keep the bend. Whoa, whoa.
It's not breaking this time.
Nice rock.
There it is.
It's not breaking this time. Hold on a second. Let me make a right turn. That's amazing.
Shooting faster.
It did look like it was hanging, but the corn that Kevin Martin is using is all in the house area. That's why they lift their brushes and wait for it. Watch the spin on the rock as it's grabbing. And there it's right to the face.
I should have cleaned the head there, dude. What we're talking. It's going to be in front. Fine.
This is the first stone for the Scottish skip.
Fine.
8th end, 5-4, Scotland leading Canada.
Fine, clean. Fine, hurry! Yeah! Hurry! Hurry! Quick! Wait, wait, whoa! Wait, wait, wait.
Actually, it had to catch the rock a little bit on the center line side to be shot. Looks like it is. Really working it hard to stay on that center line side.
It seems as well, once you get over that center line, as you catch the corn, it's even going to take off. In fact, it seems that David Stone's shot was moving a little earlier than Kevin Martin's, or rather Kevin Park's last stone was. This is the first stone for Kevin Martin, the Canadian skip.
What?
Off it. Okay, take it.
Gotta get the line here off. No line.
Here she comes.
Good shot. The angle's set right up. Good shot, rock.
Up the camera as soon as you did that on this ice. Program and move your own. You leave him lying first and second there. Come up to there.
I love these angles, and they're having a good look at it.
He's going to bang. Yeah, big time for losing it.
Right now, Canada would have a shot for 3. They could bump their own onto the Scottish stone and sit 3. So David Smith is going to try and come right to the face of the front Canadian rock, the one that is shot, and prevent him from getting more than 2 and hopefully only 1.
Hang a guard. Ours is going to go, Pete. Yeah, ours is just going to go straight at the side. They like shot.
Well, he said even a guard, so he's really abandoning the hope.
So he's just putting it down in this area here. That's what Linda's talking about, just in there.
He's just got to hit it. You want me to try and hit that on the nose? No. Guard. Come right.
Here you see the time remaining. So it's going to be the last stone. They're going to be tight. 2 ends to play.
To guard.
He's got a lot of weight.
What's good?
Be okay if it starts to catch some corn.
Oh, look at it go.
That's too much.
More than corn.
Too much. Well, it's ticked.
Maybe they get a wick now. Look at this. That caught more than corn, you would think.
No, it could be anything. It was really hard to tell.
And you can see David Smith checking the clock. Because it stops with 12 minutes and 50 seconds remaining, and they have 2 minutes to play.
Has to catch the button for 2 points.
Okay, guys, we need this one.
Okay, guys, we need this one. Wait, this is the control point.
The final stone for Canada. And Kevin Martin here in 8, trailing by 1, has a chance to take the lead.
Where is it? Little more. Easy, look fast. Okay. Easy.
Doesn't want to let it go. Doesn't want to miss the opportunity. He doesn't want to miss the opportunity. Oh, my, it's dug in. Oh. Oh, it looked like it was through and he had missed the chance, but then suddenly it hit the corn and stopped, and Canada has the lead. 6-5 will go to 9 when we come back to the 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships.
At the end of March, one of the most prestigious winter sports events in the world will be taking place in Western Canada. The Canada Safeway World Curling Championships at the Winnipeg Arena. The event brings together the top men's and women's competitors in the game and is indeed a proud moment for us all.
On behalf of our 22,000 employees in Western Canada, Canada Safeway is pleased to have been able to bring this fine event to the Canadian prairies.
Okay, work with me now, people, okay? See this name, Goodyear? What do you think of when you see this name? Tires. See, that's what I mean. For years, we've been doing tune-ups. Thank you, Gord, son of the owner. Tune-ups, under the hood work, but still, when we say Goodyear, you say tires. Come on, work with me on this.
From tune-ups to tires, Goodyear takes you home.
Goodyear does tune-ups. This is not a big reach. Pretty clear.
Great defense starts with your feet. And I have MVP feet. That's why I plan to pump from Reebok. When I'm pumped up, I get support, protection, and a custom fit that's unbeatable. I'm a hot dog. But when it comes to protection, this is no bull. Pump up and air out.
Switch to the greatest sports performance shoe in the world, the Reebok Pump. Pump up and air out.
All right, let's get you caught up on other games late in this 14th round. And there you can see Finland continuing to lead 5-4 over Denmark. Yusuf Avoniemi looking to win his first. France, Norway, men's game. Eigil Ramsfeld leading 4-2. Looking to go to 5-2. It's all over. Sweden is now 5-2 after beating Scotland and Christine Allison 6-2. Women's game, Norway leading 6-4 over France. Dorothy Nordby bounces back after trailing 3-0. And in our game, Canada with a dramatic 2 in the 8th end takes a 6-5 lead over Scotland. And let's take a look at the 4 last shots. This is the first stone for the Scottish skip, D.Smith.
Well, it's just a series of great shots here. You can see this stone coming down. He's freezing to the face of a rock, sitting about on the tee line, comes right down, sits right on top of it, frozen solid and shot rock.
Now the first shot for Kevin Martin.
Kevin Martin. You can hardly see the rock here because it's in behind Kevin, but he's coming down. He's going to try and angle freeze on the face of the stone, the Scottish stone. And that's exactly what he does. Just moves the other one back a little bit.
The final stone for D.Smith.
Sorry, Dick. D.Smith now is going to play a little guard here, but watch it go sideways right now. And he catches the front rock. He's going to play it much tighter than that, try and block the button. Curls over, leading a draw full to the 4-foot, almost to the button for Kevin Martin. And as Dick suggests, this looks a little warm going into the rings. Right about here, though, it must be close because they give it a little brush. At this point here, it looks like it might slide. Now watch just as it gets to the button right now. 2.
Boy, you can almost see the brake lights come on as Canada picks up their 2 to take a 6-5 lead. Oh, yeah. Reason to smile for Kevin Martin as we go to the 9th end, and Scotland with last rock and trailing by 1.
Ooh, a little bit of controversy here. The Canadian team is trying to clean the ice, and the Scottish players were almost pushing the debris back on the ice. This is some of the controversy that has led to the rule change in Canada where you can only use one tool in a game, because what would happen is a team would get behind and bring out the corn and deposit debris to try and catch up, because it does make rocks slow and curl more. But Kevin Martin has been using the same broom the whole game, and it's just, there is debris out there, and it helped him a little bit with that shot.
Well, it helped him in his case when it stopped, and in fact, maybe hurt David with his last stone and didn't get the guard close enough. I mean,
yeah, that's right. He had to try and get it closer. But it's, as Linda suggests, I mean, Kevin Martin's been using the broom the whole game. Right. It's all he uses. And are you suggesting that we should outlaw the broom entirely? Or?
No, not at all.
I don't mean you suggesting.
Yeah, the people who talk about it, yeah. No, not at all. A little bit of controversy, though, is Canada's trying to remove it now because they like the rocks to run a bit straighter. I haven't actually ever curled in Scotland. I've traveled there and visited some people, but do they use a lot of corn in Scotland, Ray? Do you know?
None.
They didn't used to. I wasn't sure if it had changed much in the last few years.
No, never see it.
So they may be not as used to it as the Canadian team.
Step
They're playing it a little more quickly now because the Canadians are playing takeouts.
Tuck out.
Well, they played this part of the game very well, as does David Smith and the boys from Scotland.
Easy.
David taking that behind the tee line in case he can get a nose hit from Canada. Kevin Martin wanting to peel the rock, get rid of the shooter. Kevin changed his broom. He was about 2 or 3 ends ago. He took out a new broom, so.
Good.
That's what David Smith wanted, the nose hit. Chance to play the freeze.
It's a chance for the Scottish third, Graham Connell.
Clean. Give it clean. Watch it. Wait. Easy. Up. Yep. Fine. Up. Easy. Up.
Beautiful shot.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this is the kind of curling you get from the top level teams, and
I'll get this.
Front end is spending a lot of time cleaning the ice as the player comes down the sheet.
yeah, we haven't seen them do a lot of that.
Surgery, Kevin Martin style, as he picks out the Scottish stone. Canada still lying 1. 12 foot at 3 o'clock.
David Smith could have a little talk with Jeff Stoughton.
Yes.
Great numbers by both skips.
Well, they changed their mind. Yeah, they went down the sheet to play the draw, and they decided to go after the blank hand.
Looking for the blank hand. He'll try and get his deuce going home.
Oh, there's one there. A couple there.
This will be the final stone for Canada and Kevin Martin here in the 9th, leading by 1-6-5.
Careful. All right, nothing left. Nothing there. Nothing there.
Kevin Park saying there's nothing there. That means there's no corn left on the ice at this spot. He has to stop on his own.
And it won't. right out the back, and so it'll allow D.Smith the free pass with his final stone here in the ninth end. He did. He just kicked it into the boards and said, let's get on with it. I'll count back at 10, and that's right, and they're at 8:57, so they'll have some time to play their stones in the 10th, and they'll look to steal. Update for you, Norway against France. Doherty Nordby, a 6-4 lead with a chance to end it here. And there it is, a 6-4 win for Norway as they run France out of rocks in the 10th. Norway and the defending women's champion from Oslo are now 6-1. France, Annick Mercier of Meshev, 1-6. All right, the all-important 10th end. Scotland will have last rock when we come back.
Has reached into our hearts like no other singer. Is it really over? And now we proudly present Jim Reeves, the complete hit collection. 30 of his most loved and hard-to-find hits together for the first time. I hear the sound. 11 #1 hits, all 30 in the top 5. But your sweet lips a little closer to the phone. Jim Reeves, the complete hit collection, all mastered from the original RCA recordings on 2 cassettes, $19.95. Compact disc, $24.95. Here's how to order.
Use your credit card and call toll-free 1-800-248-8881 or send check or money order for $19.95 for 2 cassettes, $24.95 for 1 CD plus $4 shipping to Jim Reeves, P.O. Box 600, Station R, Toronto, Ontario.
We're in Winnipeg for the 1991 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. And what a game we've been treated to so far here in the 14th round. Well, we expected nothing less. Canada against Scotland, 6-5. Canada leading as we go to the 10th end, and Scotland with last rock. And this is the Scottish second, D.Smith. Continues to do a fair bit of house cleaning. Off! Right off!
Sorry, guys.
No, there's a chance. Dan's last rock caught the Scottish stone by about an inch, and that one he obviously was wide and he missed it entirely.
D.Smith just pointing out that that rock is just about a foot short. Chance to get something buried and pick up possible 2.
Yep. Now, is there a right time or a wrong time to use the guard, or do you want to go to the other side as well?
No, you could throw up another guard if you wanted. He's going to go right in.
He just needs his 2 for the win.
Yeah.
Easy. And behind he goes, just behind the tee line, hanging on to the edge of the 8.
Can't see a lot of it, though, just a corner.
Much good. Run that
Good shot by Peter Smith.
Miss a roll center line?
Thinking the other. The other way. Stop the beat with the spin. About some kind of better attempt.
Freeze isn't too bad, I guess. We're going here.
I think we almost have to.
I don't make a double.
He's got the deuce. Let's go here. The only other thing they thought about it was running the front one back on it, trying to get the double that way.
And they
But
said
the
if they,
shooter would be there. That's right.
yeah, they said if they wrong-sided it, they would have to try and roll to the middle to set up a potential center line guard. This is one of those times
I
where
like kind of like this.
rolling to the middle.
Then we got the center line covered off. Let's do that, Kev.
One of those times where you have to decide if you can get rid of the rest of the rocks, cut them down to just one, or if you have to totally go for it and play the draw.
Play the draw. Play the draw. Whatever you want. Like.
What do you want to do?
What do you want to do? Yeah, what do you want to do?
He's got to throw the last two. It's important that he feels comfortable with it.
Here. Okay. Where's it at? Who is that? Eh?
No, we don't have to be perfectly frozen. We have the right line.
I didn't listen to that.
Give us line.
The Scottish stone is behind the tee line. If they come to the face of the stone, they will be shot raw.
Wait, good.
Oh, look at this. Right on top, Kevin Park. Oh.
A beautiful shot. He said it had to be in front of it. He threw the perfect weight, really started to curl here, so they jumped on it to try and hold it on the line. Just gets by the guard. And now Scotland will try and do the same sort of thing, just sit in front of it. Has to be in front of it, can't be heavy.
Oh, it's easy. Even he got some late movement, too, and took a little sideways step. Heigl Ramsfeld leaving the ice after his 4-3 win over France, and you can see him telling the crowd, hey, let's keep it down a little bit. I appreciate the applause, but they're playing some pretty big shots right next door, so Heigl Ramsfeld in his 13th World Championship appearance. The Norwegian skip with the win over France. It's now 5-2. France 2-5.
Scotland didn't want that rock to spill open. Canada can push it back and then sit in front of the tee line, making it very hard for Scotland to come down to their stone.
He got this one started a little bit, Linda, and right in behind the sheet. So they're really going to have to brush to hold it, which they did.
It's got lots of weight. I think it's okay, though.
And right out the back. Got a little rub off their own stone, biting the edge of the 8-foot and out the back.
Well, Scotland needs a good freeze. He's just going to tap it back slightly. Back ring weight. Make it difficult for Kevin to get out of there. He can get a little roll.
Now that's how we've gotten to this point. It's the 2 by Canada in the 8th end that is the difference, and what a brilliant 2 they were.
Heavy draw he asked for.
Yeah!
Shot stone still belongs to Canada.
No corn left.
Kevin Martin will now split the rings, put the rock on the other side.
You're Kevin
Edge
saying
of the 4-foot, I would think.
No corn left.
Just curled a little bit right there. Made a big move right at the end and just rolled a little bit too much.
Kevin Martin will try and space these rocks as far apart as possible and still sit to 2. But it's tricky. If he leaves it high of the tee line, there'd be a double takeout possibility. If he comes deep, they can draw to it.
He just wants to be the edge of the 4-foot to force David Smith to play to the open shot, not allow him to go back into the pocket.
Hard. Got a tee line. Hard.
He's got to get it there. Perfectly spaced. Absolutely perfect. I think these people appreciate this game.
Shot now. Now we can get the other way for tap score.
And just right down in behind the sheet, so David Smith is going to try and freeze to the face of this stone. Right turn. Takes a little more ice.
David Smith and his first stone here in 10. He has the hammer and he trails by 1. 6-5, Canada leading.
Sitting on the center line, Dick. Not making any kind of a move whatsoever.
And they'll go on by.
I think it's maybe second shot, however. It's going to be close.
I think you're right, Ray.
Again, he'll try and spread out the 2 rocks so there's no double takeout.
A little bit of straw that may be left on the ice in that area worked a little bit in David Smith's behalf that time, because it looked like he was a little bit heavy and it was going to slide through the rings. But just at the very end, it kind of just dug in, and he's got second shot out of it.
There. Wow. Wow.
It's got to be second shot.
Wow. Wow. Got something. Wow. Wow. Here. Right here. Wow.
Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, his numbers are 85%. Probably curling the game of the week for Kevin Martin. Full 4-foot to force an extra end. David Smith telling his front end to be careful. He's making the point that could still be some corn on the ice. He needs 4 foot to force an extra in. Oh, no, did he pull a string on this one? Is he going to come up light? 6-5, Canada leading. He's got to be there. He won't, and Canada will win their 7th in a row. Kevin Martin wins it by a score of 8-5 over D.Smith in Scotland. And yes, Canada is through to the semifinal.
Honey, I know we're on a low cholesterol kick, but if I eat much more salad, I'll turn into a rabbit.
Well, how about a McCain pizza? It's okay. It's a McCain Tender Crisp. And it's low cholesterol.
Low cholesterol pizza?
It says so right on the box.
Low cholesterol pizza. Great idea.
Great pizza, too.
McCain Tender Crisp in individual and family sizes. Low cholesterol, too.
Because man cannot live by salad alone.
Could have been the whiskey, might have been the gin. Tell me, oh, my, wasn't that a
Ladies and gentlemen, the Irish Rovers.
She's my joy and my pride, and she's 20 meters wide, and I call her the ship that bonny lady. Johnny, get up on the fire, get up and give me your man and say, can't you see it's Mick McGuire and his 4-year sister kid?
They've delighted audiences worldwide with their musical tales, and now you can get the Irish Rovers' greatest hits, a silver anniversary collection.
What would you do if you married a soldier? What would you do with the follow the gun? And me heart is captivated by the flower of sweet romance.
No Irish Rover collection is complete without this international blockbuster hit.
You'll see green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees.
The Irish Rovers' greatest hits, 25 years of musical magic on 2 LPs or 2 cassettes, $14.99, 1 compact disc, $19.99. Here's how to order. To save COD charges, use your credit card and call toll-free 1-800-453-2900 or send check or money order for $14.99 for LPs or cassettes or $19.99 for 1 compact disc plus $4 shipping and handling to Irish Rovers, P.O. Box 600, Station R, Toronto, Ontario, M4G 4E1. That's 1-800-453-2900.
Now it's time for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by National Trust, and it comes for Canada in the 8th end, the final stone for Kevin Martin, and a chance to score 2.
Well, the game was close right till the end, but it was the second point in the 8th end that gave Canada the advantage and let them play that great 10th end. Look at this one. It looks a little heavy. Has to be almost on the button. Stops, though, and he does get his 2.
And Martin, yeah, he had it, and the lead, and he went on to win his 7th in a row here at these World Curling Championships. A cash donation has been made to the Coaching Association of Canada on behalf of TSN and National Trust for the development of amateur coaches in Canada. National Trust, helping you secure your future. And Ray is with Canada's skip, Kevin Martin.
Well, Kevin, thank you very much for an unbelievable evening of entertainment. That was just fantastic. There really are so many good shots. I don't know where to start. The angle raises, freezes, the draw in the 8th end. Just an unbelievable game.
Yeah, we kind of thought that when did he make that angle raise of his? In the 7th. You know, we had him wired. That's right. He makes probably the best shot of the week, and we thought we were in big trouble, and then all of a sudden Kevin comes back and makes that perfect freeze in 8, and all of a sudden it's a brand new game.
For sure, but your draw, too, you had about a 1.5 foot of ice to make that second point. That was a fabulous draw.
Well, the guys, that's up to the sweepers. You know, it has nothing to do with throwing it. Throw it somewhere near it, and if you've got the sweepers, they'll put it there, and they did.
And they judged it properly. Yeah. There was a little bit of, I guess, controversy, maybe the word, about the corn being on the ice. D.Smith seemed a little bit
I don't think they play with it a lot. I don't know. There wasn't that much. I think I only swept about 3 times down the sheet, you know, and that's just not that much. I don't think I've ever played maybe Furby or Hannah or Worth back home where there was less than that, you know, and it's just not that much. And I really got excited about it, and it hurt him.
Yeah, they kind of let it bother him a little bit. It didn't look to me like there was a lot of corn either, but some of the rocks were digging in a little bit at the end. And
you've got to clean them.
That's right. You have to keep the rock clean as it goes down the ice. You must feel great about the round robin so far, Kevin.
Well, this was a big game tonight. Scotland's so tough, and they proved it. And to get through this one's big now. That I think we have first now. I think mathematically, I believe. I don't know. Don't matter anyway.
The game
doesn't matter. I'm so confused now. It doesn't matter. Anyway.
The game was so exciting. I don't know either, to tell you the truth. But it was fantastic. And once again, congratulations and good luck tomorrow. And you're going to be there on Saturday, and that's what really counts. Vic, we were just absolutely entertained tonight. Just sensational.
No doubt about it. And congratulations to the Canadian rink and Kevin Martin. Now, there is one game still in play, and this is Denmark-Finland, tied 5-5. Now, just to bring you up to date, Finland and UC Pavliniemi of Finland are 0-6 coming into this round. They had last rock in the 10th, leading 5-4, and they gave up the steal of one to Denmark to tie it 5-5. Then in the 11th, playing the extra end, they have last rock, and with his last stone, he's got to hit a piece of the paint, and he came up light. And that's why we're on to a second extra end, and the opportunity still for Finland to win their first.
And the one in the 11th was so close they actually measured it, and it was out.
So you wait, the people here will tell you, oh, he's flashing this one, isn't he? Well, it's just not his week. Finish, Skip. Somewhat of a disappointing week, I think, in all fairness, for the Danes and their skip, Christian Thune Jacobsen of Copenhagen, coming into this round at 2-4. Stone for the Danish skip. Last rock in the second extra end belongs to Finland.
They have that center line guard. They'd love to come around it and come to the top of the forefoot.
David, I said this to Kevin Martin, and I'll say it to you. Thank you very much for an unbelievable evening of entertainment. That was just a sensational curling game.
Yeah, it really was a superb game for the crowd, for everybody at home to watch. We were delighted the way we played. Towards the end, it got a bit awkward. Kevin brought a dirty old corn broom, and it made it a bit more awkward for us to get our draw weight, field stones. But it was a very interesting game for everybody to watch.
It sure was. We got a look at a shot that you played here in the 7th end when you had to angle raise a rock from almost the hog line. Just a great shot. You were really in trouble that end, too.
Yeah, we were in big trouble here. Graham had a few push shots, and I managed to come round with my first shot in the other hand. This one, actually, we thought it was going to pull too much, and then it straightened up again. We got the angle absolutely perfectly. Made the end an interesting one for Kevin with his last shot.
Well, we see curling like that. There was just under 12,000 people here tonight, and if we see curling like that, then we all know why we love this game so much.
Yeah, it's a truly great game, Ray. Just listen to these guys, they're enjoying it, you know. I'm glad it was a good game.
Well, David, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck on the weekend. I'm sure you're going to be there.
Thank you. Thanks, Ray.
Back up to you, Victor.
Okay, Moosey, thank you very much. And Finland has won their first game. They made the hit and stick at the top of the 4. And so Finland and UC Pavliniemi win it 6-5. And yes, the big man has reason to smile. Nobody now is winless in the men's draw. Yeah, high fives all around, boys. Took you 2 extra ends, but feel proud you're a winner at these World Championships. Stone looked heavy. But it suddenly would dig in, and Martin says, yes, fellas, that's what a little corn will do. brought the 12,000 at Winnipeg Arena to their flag-waving feet. In the 10th, leading by 1 without last cross. Martin kept the pressure on by splitting the house. Foot for a tie would come up short, and Martin would win the battle in a clash. Assiniboine River to downtown Winnipeg, the 1991 Canada Safeway World Curling Championship. And it's brought to you in part by Canada Safeway and its employees. Safeway, bringing the world together. Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to TFM's continuing coverage of the 91 Canada Safeway World Curling Championships. Linda, round 15 on the ice this morning here at the arena, and Julie Sutton and her Canadian women's champions playing Scotland, taking 7 straight wins into it. And there are some people who will suggest, despite the 7 wins, that Julie hasn't been playing very well.
They haven't lost a lot of games all year, though, and what seems to be happening here is they've only played as well as they've had to win. Julie will come up short on a draw here, and she'll give up a steal of 2 points. Scotland will take those 2 points and go to a 6-3 victory.
And Canada's first loss. Now, the draws now are all women's and men's draws. So in women's play, you see that Sweden wins again. So does France as they beat Austria. The former world champion Andrea Schopp of Garmisch wins, beating Switzerland. And Dordy Norby, the defending women's world champion, Norway beats the U.S. Women's standings, Canada-Norway 7-1, Sweden 6-2, Germany, Scotland 5-3. Those 5 will battle for the 4 playoff spots. Switzerland, Denmark, France, United States, and Austria round out the women's standings. Men's standings, Canada alone on top at 7-2. Scotland, Norway 5-2. Switzerland, the U.S. 4-3. Germany and Sweden still alive, but are going to need some help. France, Denmark, and Finland on the bottom. All right, the Canadian men now go into a game against Switzerland, and this rink from Biel, Marcus Egler, a little bit inexperienced, first time here, but they do have some international experience at junior level.
They were probably watching that game last night a little bit. What a treat we had when Canada played Scotland. But, you know, Switzerland is fighting for a playoff berth, and you don't want to play a lot of teams that want to win as much as you do. It should be a great battle.
It really was a tremendous game last night, Canada against Scotland and their win over D.Smith. But now the task at hand is Switzerland. And Ray is standing by with the Canadian third, Kevin Park.
Kevin, I didn't get a chance to tell you last night, but that was just absolutely fabulous curling. What entertainment for everyone.
Very exciting to be involved in that match. Some of these games can be kind of boring, and the other team is up or down 2 on you, and they're hitting everything. But here we were challenged. It's like you're playing tennis with somebody, your equal partner. If you're playing somebody bad, it's no good. If you're playing somebody better than you, for sure.
We got a chance to show you a shot here from the 7-10 last night. Maybe you could just give us a little rundown on it.
Well, coming in here looks pretty good, and we'll hit and roll here.
Pretty good. Look at the roll. Look at the roll. Well, that's the kind of...
It was a little deep. The guy had a chance to lay the freeze in there, and he didn't do it, so unfortunately.
Well, we saw shot after shot after shot like that last night, and for the viewing audience and the people here, 11,000 people here, it was so exciting. Just maybe a quick comment. There was a little bit of... talk about the corn situation, so maybe just a comment on that. The Scots felt that there was excess of corn on the ice.
Well, as far as we were concerned, there was very little corn. We've come through the Canadian playdowns, through the city, the provincials. You see that all the time. I guess they don't see that over there. And I guess they're just not able to cope with it. And we'll probably throw it out there again if they're going to be that inept at it.
Okay. Well, you play Switzerland today. Is it a little tough after a game like that to kind of get yourself motivated, get up for it?
Oh, it is. We're just going to try and have a little fun now. We've got first place wrapped up. We've got to win one more game, then we get the hammer. Although we really haven't had the hammer much this year, but yeah, we'll try to win one, see what we can do with the hammer.
So when we come back to the Winnipeg Arena, it will be Switzerland against Canada.